everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United at Southampton for what is a massive game. It's dancing on thin ice. It's the sack race. It's Mark Hughes against Jose Mourinho, and Manchester United have got to win this game. We are a little under 2 minutes away from team news, and all I can say is the leaked team is not the team I put to my right. I've gone with what I have to believe Jose Mourinho will do. The leaked team is ridiculous, and I have got time to read it out before it comes out. So, De Gea in goal, Dalot, Jones, Rojo, Shaw, Fellaini, Matic, Pereira, Mata, Martial, Rashford. So, no Lukaku, no Pogba, no Chris Smalling, no Young or Valencia. I can't see it. I mean, he only spoke about Pereira yesterday, saying Pereira needs game time, so I'll play him against Valencia, which is 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks away. I can't. But it is the leaked team, so we'll see if it's the case. I think Pogba's got to play in a game like this. As people will know, I'm very worried about Fellaini and Matic in a midfield too. I think we can grind out results, but we're not going to play good football with those two. I'd like to see Rashford playing up front instead of Lukaku. I really, really would. I think that would be a positive. I'd like to see that. Let's wait and see. I'll be surprised. I mean, I'd have massive concerns about why Rojo is playing with Jones and why Smalling wasn't playing. And also, you'd have to start saying, well, what the hell does Eric Bailly have to do to get a team selection? But that's the leaked team. I've gone with my team on the right there. I think that should be the team. I think that, well, I don't know whether it will be the team, but I think that should be the team. We'll see what happens with it. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it works out, because I really... Team news comes in, well, any second, actually. It should be coming up now. I'm on the Manchester United Twitter page. So let's see if the leaked team has been right over the last few weeks. Let's see if it's right this time. I'll be absolutely surprised. I'll be so surprised if he hasn't picked, like I say, Pogba and Smalling for a game of this magnitude. At the moment, the team news is coming out, and it's not that team. He's dropped Matic completely, and Pogba started. Well, it's miles off. McTominay is starting for a start. So, and no Dalot. No Dalot. Dalot's on the bench. So he's played with a young kid's feelings there, because it's De Gea in goal, young captain, Jones, Matic is playing. No Smalling. Smalling must be injured. So I don't even understand what this team is. De Gea in goal, Young, Jones, Matic, Shaw, McTominay, Fellaini, Ander Herrera, Pogba, Rashford, Lukaku. So Martial's dropped as well. For fuck's sake. My life, what is going on? I just do not get this man. I'm absolutely... Look, we've got to win this game of football. I'm not going to go negative, but just absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned by that. I really am. I've got to change the team for you, obviously, but that team is an absolute joke. It's, you know, there's so much wrong with it. He said Dalot was making his debut, so either he's a fucking liar or he's pre-picking his subs. Technically it's a debut because I bring him on as a sub. You can't pre-pick a right back to come on as a sub. What if we get someone sent off? What if we get a couple of injuries? What if we need to win the game like we do? I'm absolutely stunned by that team news. I really am. It doesn't make a jot of sense, to be quite honest with you. Like a lot of things with our manager at the moment. But I do need to change the team for you. Sorry. Oh, fuck knows what's going on here. I'm irritated now. I'm absolutely irritated with that team. We've got Matic, McTominay and Fellaini in the same bloody team. That's what's killing me. Matic, what is... I take it Southampton are not very good in the air then, because that is terrifying. Bloody McTominay. Bloody McTominay. I just cannot get my hat on this. I cannot get my hat on this. Obviously, there was something in the rumours that Chris Smalling was out. I think Scott McTominay might be playing at centre-back. That is the rumour. I'm absolutely stunned. What I do need to do is get the lineup for people that is correct, because the one on my left is not right. So let me sort this out for you. Don't worry, this is live TV, folks. This is live TV. We've had to change it because Jose Mourinho has gone back on his word. He's not playing Ashley Young. Wow. Wowee. We'll probably go and win. The team is De Gea, Young, Jones, Matic, Shaw, McTominay, Fellaini, Herrera, Pogba, Rashford, Lukaku. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make that much sense, this team. But let's get it up for you now. Herrera, spell the bloody name. Come on. I'm shouting at myself here. I'm just really frustrated. How can you drop Anthony Martial? Seriously, what? Why? Dropping Martial for Rashford. I mean, I like Rashford, but he was trash the other night. Absolute trash. I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. I'm stunned by this manager. And you know what? Why are we playing McTominay or Matic at centre-back when we've got Eric Bailly fit? I mean, it just shows you the absolute pig ignorance of this manager to do things his way. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Rojo's on the bench. Eric Bailly isn't even on the bench. Dalot's on the bench. Rojo's on the bench. Fred's on the bench. Lingard's on the bench. Mata's on the bench. Martial's on the bench. So, you know, £50 million for Fred, and we're finding places for Scott McTominay in the midfield. The banter era continues, folks. It continues. I just think the most scariest thing is this man just hasn't got a clue. Alligator says cocaine is a hell of a drug. Jose Mourinho. Yeah. West Ham away all over again, says Tom P. I've got to say, mate, it's the first thing that came into my head. Yeah, but I'm just about to put the right team news up for you now. Jose should have a Plonker of the Year award, says Angry Brother. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you with that. Right, correct team news is going up now. Probably not the correct formation, but certainly the correct team news. There we go. Pull it down for you. Start Lee Grant in goal and make the shambles complete, says Andrew Rossi. You know what? You're not far off, mate. But, having said that, we got to win, haven't we? We've got to win. And also, Danny Dobson, 3-5-2 formation. Are you doing a Christmas Eve special this year? I'm glad you're concerned about our Christmas Eve special, Danny. A little bit of positivity there. We're in 8th at the moment as well, just to add salt in the wound. I believe we've dropped to 8th because Leicester are winning 2-0 at Watford. They're on the same points as us now, Leicester, but they've got a better goal difference. And Man City are beating Bournemouth 3-1. Only positive about today, Mark's Christmas tree, should call it Matic. Yeah, I mean, well, there's the team for you, as you can see on my left. De Gea in goal, Young right back, McTominay and Jones potentially as the centre-back partnership. Watership down. Luke Shaw, Matic, Pogba, Fellaini, Herrera, Lukaku, Rashford. I don't know. I mean, I've done it as a 4-3-3. It's clearly not going to be a 4-3-3, is it? But who knows? Who knows how it's going to roll? We just don't know. This is by far the most horrific thing I've ever seen, says Claire Anlage. I know what you mean, Claire. I know what you mean. It's bordering on insane, which is why we'll probably win 4-0. He's making us cry, says FaZe Mood. Tack Game says, what's the actual formation? Who knows? He's looking for the sack, says Mark J. And a lot of people are angry there. Bailly is injured. I would have thought Bailly was injured. I think Smalling must be injured as well. He must be injured. You know, there is no way it can't be that. I mean, the things for me is that the things that strike me about this team, I just want to say, is that he promised a lot would start, and he doesn't do that. He also drops Martial, plays Lukaku. Well, got Jared coming on here, which should be quite interesting. Just one typing some stuff up. Hi, Jared. How you doing, pal?
How you doing, Mark?
Well, good, thanks. Give us your thoughts on the team.
I'm baffled.
Yeah.
I'm shocked he dropped Martial, honestly. That was probably the one consistent factor that even that everyone who criticizes Mourinho can sit there and say at least he's playing. I just don't get it. There's no consistency in the team. There's no consistency in the strategies. No consistency in what we do. I'm starting to believe he is trying to get fired, if I have to be honest.
Yeah, the Twitter is full of it. Facebook, I'm just looking there. YouTube, obviously our live comments. I think there were, Southampton are terrible, so we could win today. But the thing that I said this last week when I was sat next to Ross at the Palace game, it's not even about winning anymore. It's about the mindset of Jose Mourinho. I just do not get it. I mean, we've got McTominay, Fred, and I wish we had Fred. We've got McTominay, Fellaini, and Matic, who are basically the same fusion of shit, but we've got 3 of them on the pitch. All slow, all tall, all crap on the ball. You've got Dalot, who was apparently making his debut, not making his debut. You've got Martial dropped despite keeping Mourinho in a job in October, and he's our best goal threat. I like Rashford, but he couldn't hit the ocean from a boat. Same goes for Lukaku, both start. Herrera starting, as well as Fellaini, Matic, McTominay and Pogba. So there's massive question marks about what the formation is. Phil Jones is starting, and who knows who's going to play centre-back with him. It is an absolute mess.
It's, again, and then you get in the fans, and they're split on so many things, but there's no one who can be split on the fact that Bailly would have been a better fit than the 2 centre-backs, that whoever we're choosing at centre-back at this point.
I think Bailly, just before you go on, I think Bailly and Smalling are injured. It's not been confirmed, but I think that they are. So we're probably scratched. But he could still play Rojo. He's a centre-back.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a lot. I understand the mind games that Jose plays, but his mind games don't make sense anymore. It's like mind games from the 1990s. And again, like, you're trying to get what many people consider the most important player to the club tied down with De Gea, and that's Martial. And what player is going to want to sign a contract when he doesn't even know if he's playing every week? He's not a bit part player. He's someone you build a team around. And it's the fact of the matter is, even if the logic is Mourinho saving him for the middle of the week, none of it makes sense. And for me, I've defended Mourinho for a very long time, but there's no one who can sit here and say he should stay here. Even if you don't blame Mourinho for what happened, it's definitely time to go. It's time to start fresh and rip this team apart and build it back up, because the lineup, everything, the talent level, the locker room, it's just shit. It's shit. There's no way that the players are sitting there and they're like, great, we're ready to go for this game. I just don't see how the players are even excited. And then I think this opens the door for a Southampton who shouldn't even be a competitive game for us.
It's just it's so disjointed, isn't it? Just to come back on you on that. I mean, there's just no way this team can have any rhythm, because it's basically just a mismatch. It's and it's not even an attacking mismatch. To me, it just looks like a very defensive side.
100%. You see it, in the comments, people are saying 1-8-1 lineup, 2-7-2. They're right. This is a beyond defensive lineup, a beyond negative lineup. He's negative. It's a negative manager, which is something that, again, we've sat here and we've said you can logically say and argue for against Mourinho. You can't argue this team. Even if he wins 4-0, this team is delusional. It is. And, Pogba, this is a game where he should have an unbelievable game and take over. Great. Lukaku should have a goal. Easy game. I don't know how a team like us builds for the future and builds consistency when we have no one knowing if they're starting at any point. Fred comes here for a $50 million signing. He's on the bench. Dalot's told he's going to start. He's on the bench. I don't know why Matic or McTominay is playing center back. Fellaini's Fellaini. We're all going to have to deal with him.
Yeah, he's not even a topic, Fellaini, is he? Because we all knew Fellaini was going to start. So whether he should or he shouldn't, there's enough other things going on in that team today.
Exactly. It's like you have 7 injuries on your body. One of them is going to you'll accept it. We accept Fellaini now. We accept he's going to be there. We accept he's not a bit part player, but a starter in Mourinho's eyes. And again, it's you cannot blame the players for being miserable, and you can't blame people like Mata and Martial for saying, why would I put up with this anymore? And again, you get back to that point where it's like, if we wait till Christmas, if we wait till the end of the year to replace Mourinho, how damaging is it going to be to the locker room of this club? Because are the people still going to be here?
Yes. I mean, look, I've just got a couple of super chats to read, but the Southampton team, if anybody hasn't seen it, is McCarthy in goal, Yoshida, Vestergaard, Stevens, Valerie, Hoiberg, Lamina, Armstrong, Cedric Suarez, Redmond, Obafemi. I mean, it's not a very good team. Even when you look, you know, compared to the mishmash that Mourinho's put out, it's not a good team. And we should beat it. They don't have the quality, probably don't even have the quality of Crystal Palace, to be fair. So we should be winning this game. Jens Borville says, Martial dropped for one bad game. Again, consistency. Brandau says, Mu, Fred and Bay are first team players and Mourinho plays Matic and Fellaini instead and Rashford is in crap form, so you drop Martial. Quality Street, yet again, says Robert Moore. Quality Street, I'll have to use that as a line. So basically, Quality Street is a chocolate tin that you have at Christmas in the UK, and basically I think Mourinho just goes in and pulls any old 11 out. Is there a reason Martial isn't playing, says Jack Carr. And Danny Dobson, yeah, we did Danny Dobson, didn't we? Look, I personally don't know what you think, Jared. I don't know what everybody else thinks at home, but Anthony Martial kept Mourinho in a job consistently in October with goals here, there, and everywhere. He wasn't great against Palace. He wasn't terrible against Young Boys, to be honest. I thought he was one of our best threats. But Mourinho has done what I predicted Mourinho would do. Give him one excuse to drop Anthony Martial, and he will do it. And not only has he dropped Anthony Martial, who for me is our best goal threat, he's dropped him for Lukaku and Rashford, who couldn't hit the ground with a bowling ball. So, you know, his favourites again, isn't it? He's got his team of favourites out there.
It's, again, and this gets back to the same point where it's like you're talking about a 22-year-old building confidence and building a team around, again, and the fans are going to keep Martial here, but it's almost like he's self-destructing it. Like he builds him up to pull him out. A 22-year-old doesn't need rest. A 22-year-old doesn't need to be on the bench. A 22-year-old could play every single game and be okay. The difference is for some reason Rashford is going instead of Martial. And I bet you at the end of the game, right? At the end of the game, he's going to come out and he's going to be like, well, we wanted to get Marcus some game time, so we wanted to give Anthony rest. And the question is, like, there's better people to bench. Matic shouldn't be playing. He looks like he looks like the tree behind you. He doesn't move. He doesn't do anything. He's stale. And we just sit here, and as fans, we try and defend our manager. We're called not loyal if we don't. But, for me, you have to, at this point, just be Jose not in, even if you're not Jose out. You know, like maybe it's just you don't believe that it's his fault, but this is the one of the worst lineups I've seen picked in years for this team. And it's negative, and it sets a terrible precedent. And the way City and Liverpool and Tottenham are playing, and even Arsenal, the shit team that they are, the way that these teams around us are playing, it's a banter lineup. It's bullshit. It makes you sit there and you're like, what am I confident in this team about? And even if we win, are you excited about it? No.
I mean, there is some queries about the fitness of Anthony Martial. You know, maybe that is the case, but I still think that, you know, even if we accept that Eric Bailly and Chris Smalling are injured, which they are, that I still think that there are massive issues with that team. We must be careful. We must be careful because you cannot predict a result on a starting lineup, and I do think we will win the game regardless of what is a very weird lineup. But for me, the big things are £50 million spent on Fred. Mourinho never shuts up about not getting a centre-back in the summer. Why did you spend the money on Fred then? Why did you do that? You could have spent that on a centre-back because you certainly don't play Fred, who I thought played very well the other night for 60 minutes, doesn't get a start. McTominay comes in from God knows where. We haven't seen him for 6 weeks. He comes into a massive game from nowhere. Matic is still playing. I don't understand that. He said he was going to start Dalot. He's not done that. Lukaku and Rashford playing. Well, who else is there if Martial's being rested, to be fair? But Luke Skywalker says, young over Dalot. I want to see future, not the past. I mean, to be fair, let's just talk about Dalot. Mourinho, Jared, did say that Dalot would be making his debut today. Now, technically, he can still do that from the bench, although I think that's absolutely amateur hour to say that somebody's making their debut from the bench, because how can you pick your subs before a game started because you don't know what's going to happen? I never expected Dalot to play today, never in a million years. I even said it. But when Mourinho says he's going to play him and then he doesn't do it, a lot of people got very excited over something that's now not happened.
Again, he plays mind games with more than just the fans of this club. And I don't think it's unfortunate because you get excited to see a young player who you know could be a long-term solution at a problem position for us. And again, you don't get why. Like, why is it the way it is? Why did he pick this lineup? And to your point, we will win this game, right? But even if we do or we don't, it's not about that. It's about being negative in the sense that we do not believe that this is the best lineup by far. It's a negative, slow lineup that puts too much pressure on people like Pogba to take over the game, when in fact, again, I don't think this lineup gets the best out of the people we need. I think it's just a lineup that Mourinho thinks will be negative, slow the game down, and will win 1-0. Just terrible. It's a terrible way to set up a team.
I think just to expand on that, somebody in the live comments said it as well, and I would agree that what he's actually done is he's picked a team that no United fan is going to be happy with, but from Jones, Young, McTominay, Matic, Fellaini, Lukaku, Luke Shaw, that's 7 already, probably Herrera 8. There's a lot of players there that fall into that bracket of that are Mourinho favourites, that like Mourinho, that will run through brick walls for him. And I think that's probably why he's picked as many of them as possible, because his job is in jeopardy. So he's picking players that will run through brick walls for him. Of course, Andreas Pereira is a better player than Scott McTominay, but Scott McTominay is in the Mourinho circle, isn't he? And he's going to run through brick walls for him. Pereira is probably like, I've had enough of you, like everybody else. Kid Cully says, used your quality street tactic, Mark. Cheers for giving him the idea. Haha. This sums United up. No flair player is going to stay here. Why does Jose never play Mata? He's a playmaker, says Wadders. McTominay over Fred and Pereira, says Barry Reid. I think that that's the interesting thing about the lineup today. I would imagine that maybe Fellaini's playing in a more advanced position, Jared, because the front three, obviously Lukaku and Rashford, but the third element of the front three, or obviously we might not play a front three, is very hard to pick, because you've got, well, somebody's going to have to play centre-back out of Matic, McTominay and Herrera. Then you've got Pogba and Fellaini. So we've got 5 centred midfielders. One's going to have to play centre-back and one's going to have to play more attacking.
I mean, I could see a diamond setup, right, where Matic plays closer to the back and then Fellaini plays closer to the front. No matter how this lineup works out, do you really see it in a situation where we're going to come out of the game being like, that was excellent? No, and I think it puts immense pressure on De Gea, because the defense it's half a defense in front of him. And this has to be ridiculously frustrating, because he's making these saves. He's doing what he needs to do to be one of the best goalies on earth. And the defense in front of him being picked is not the best defense he can be picked. Rojo is clearly a better defender than who was picked. There's no question. You can argue that there's better people and he should have been given a center back, but in the end, there is better people to pick than McTominay. And I think when Lukaku gave that interview about being a Mourinho favorite and sitting there and saying, I know the manager and I would run through a brick wall for him, it's like that shouldn't be the only justification for playing every week. If you suck, you shouldn't be playing every week. You should get benched to get better, to work on your form, to come back stronger. And I don't know. I mean, Matic is 31. How is a player like this playing every week and a player like Martial isn't?
Raj Dolakaya says, again, our bench and reserves are better than our starting 11. Martial, Fred, Mata, Bay, Dalot, Andreas better than Matic, McTominay, Lukaku, Jones, Young. Does it happen in any other team? I don't really think it does. Andrew Rossi, this lineup is ridiculous that you can only laugh. The sad part is that they'll probably score 4 goals and only justify Jose's madness. I think you're right, Andrew. This team is built for a draw. 0-0 Mourinho masterclass coming up. Probably won't even get sacked for a loss, to be honest. Red Baron says that this club should start the free therapy sessions after Christmas. Thanks for all those contributions there. Look, as I say, you've got to be very, very careful of going against, predicting a team result off a starting lineup. Southampton are a very bad team. However, it is the battle of the sack, really, Jared, because Mark Hughes needs a win as well. There's a lot of... was it you who put that in the group chat last night about the 0-0s? You quite fancied a 0-0 because Southampton have had loads of 0-0s and obviously we don't score many goals, so maybe 0-0 is the value.
Yeah, I think the statistic was that the only team, what was it? I think it was the only team that has had more 0-0 draws than United since Sir Alex Ferguson left is Southampton. And that statistic is abhorrent. It's like, how is that? Yeah, since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, only Southampton have recorded more goalless draws than Manchester United. So, yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't think it's going to happen this game. I think we will win. But, I mean, why is it every week we're not excited to see what's next?
I was really excited. I still am excited about today because I just think there's so much on it. But my excitement was based on, I don't really want Mourinho as manager anymore, but I thought, Martial's going to play. Rashford sounded like he was going to play up front. So I was like, maybe Mata's going to play. So I like the look of that front three. Martial's not playing. Obviously, maybe he's not fully fit. I don't know. But people like Lukaku have got to turn up today for sure. I mean, we have dropped to... we have dropped to 8th because Leicester have gone up to 21 points with the +3 goal difference, and we're still on -4. So we're down to 8th again.
I mean, but do we deserve more than that at this point?
No.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing. It's like, it's not only are we in 8th, but we deserve to probably be worse off than 8th. When you look at how we're playing, the teams we're losing to, the results we're not getting. Again, I can only imagine we got a big few weeks ahead of us. We have Liverpool, we have Arsenal, and it's...
Well, maybe today, I mean, I must just say this, it drops into my head, maybe today's team is actually a dress rehearsal for Arsenal. Sorry, not Arsenal, Liverpool. Because if you're going to go to Southampton, bottom 3, and play such a defensive team, and defensive doesn't mean we're not going to win. There's a lot of height there. There's a lot of opportunity to, nick a goal here and there. But, if you go into a team in the bottom 3 with such a negative 11... what are we going to do when we go to Anfield in 2 weeks' time? I think this may well be a bit of a rehearsal for that. Yeah,
I mean, I remember when we were on a nice run, and then Jose went to Anfield, and we got that 1-1 draw, and everyone was miserable about it. Right? We weren't happy with the way we played. You look back on it, it wasn't really a bad result. It's just the negativity in the team. You're sitting there, you're like, well, if this is a one-off result, it's okay. I mean, it's just become more and more consistent now that this is happening, and... if that's a dress rehearsal, sure, but I don't know. I mean, you look at those bigger games, and I'm very concerned for them. But the team and the players seem to step up for those games and not for games like Southampton.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he's gone with this team today, hasn't he? He's gone, he spoke about it in his press conference yesterday about, he apparently he apparently sends his team out to play fast, aggressive football from the start, and they're not doing it. So maybe that's why he's gone for the McTominays, the Fellainys, the Matic, the Ashley Young, the Lukaku, the Phil Jones, because he knows that they're going to go and run around for him because they're all in his favourite crew, aren't they? But I think what today does show, and I do think we'll win today, and I want to win today. What today shows for many United fans is that there's just no future with this manager, is there? If he can put an 11 out like that. Is that 11 ever going to win you a title? Is it realistically? Is it ever going to get us top 4? I don't think it is. And the reality is the only player that's really injured, well, the only 2 players that are injured are Sanchez and Lindelof. Well, I think Lindelof would have started. Sanchez maybe wouldn't have started. So I look at the players that aren't playing today that could have played: Mata, Fred, Martial, Pereira, Rojo, Dalot. That's 6 players that are better than some of the players that he's gone with, and I think that's the problem, that we've got this just against Eric Bailly is actually injured, so that's probably why. And to be fair, I think Rojo's only just back from injury, so to be fair, the centre-back situation could be forced out of injuries. I mean, but this is something that Mourinho will be very, very happy with, Jared, because he's been moaning about he should have had a centre-back. So, I'm sure if he didn't want a centre-back, we probably would see Rojo playing today, but it actually goes in Mourinho's favour to be able to say, I've only got one fit centre-back.
I mean, look, to defend him in part of that, I do believe he should have gotten a centre-back. I mean, if you look at the Skriniars and the Koulibalys of the world, you could have built a correct defence and a Mourinho team around it.
But he could have done that, though, couldn't he? Because he moans about wanting a centre-back. You spent 50 million on Fred, you never bloody use him. Just don't buy Fred. You don't use him anyway. Don't buy Fred. Use the 50 million on whatever joker centre-back you wanted. Get Jerome Boateng and get exposed. But I just wish he'd gone and got the centre-back because he had the money to do it. But he decided to bring Fred in, who he just doesn't use.
Right. I mean, the one thing Laurent Blanc said, I think at some conference the managers were at, he's like, I heard Mourinho's center-back targets were Koulibaly and Skriniar. So to me, it's like 50 million was not enough to get those 2 people. And if those were the targets, he should have been given them. And I would have been curious to see where it had put us in the league right now. It doesn't change the fact of where we are. So you could again say, like I do, Mourinho should have been given the center-back he wanted. No matter what, this is headed for a bad divorce. And it's going to happen not soon enough, I think. the board will not fire Mourinho until we are mathematically eliminated from the Champions League, because they're not going to give him $20 million. So,
but you know, on that as well, he's going to. I think the way it's going, he's going to break the record. Let me just read these super chats first. Man United Boy 13 says it doesn't matter if Martial is injured. Surely we got young players that damn well deserve a call up, especially for a game like this. Jose out. And Jack says average height for this starting 11 is 6'4", 6'4", long ball opportunities. Yeah, you know what though? I think the mathematically impossible Champions League sacking theory is something I spoke about back in August. I think Jared's right. The interesting thing is that I think he'll break the record with that, because LVG didn't get sacked till it was impossible for us to not be in the Champions League, which didn't happen till the last game of the season. Moyes got sacked, I think, at the end of March or the start of April, when it was mathematically impossible. I think the way it's going with United, it'll be mathematically impossible by, maybe early March at this stage. The teams above us are just pounding away, and we need to start winning games now. Now, tonight, we've got to win this game of football, because we've already dropped too many points, 2 exactly last week. What's your sort of score prediction then, Jared?
1-0.
Yeah. I think we'll get a goal and defend, to be honest.
Yeah.
100 that team.
Now, again, I would be curious to see what happens if somehow Southampton nick an early goal off of like a Phil Jones mistake or a McTominay and Matic mistake. And then I think you see something interesting, because then the players have to win, like the Newcastle type situation. But
I hope Southampton come out and play really well. I said that last night. That doesn't mean I want United to lose. I just want an opposition to come out and have a good game. And then if we win, at least we can go, we played well. What I don't want to see is the typical opposition who miss their chances like Bournemouth and then we scrape a win. I mean, I'll be happy with scraping a win, but I really hope that Southampton are up for it and give us a game of football, because then if we win, at least we can take something positive.
Yeah, I mean, we want to... No, I can't understand a United fan that wants the team to lose. You can want Mourinho sacked, and there's no way...
I don't think he'd be sacked if we lost tonight anyway, would he?
No, they're not. This board is... They have resigned themselves to Mourinho. They don't have any sponsorship negativity if they lose and miss the Champions League, because they have the ability to get back in next year. There's no risk to the board at all. Zero. If they don't make the Champions League, it makes no difference to them. It just makes a difference to us. And the revenues they would make from the Champions League making it next year is the same as firing Mourinho early. So you could look at it. It's a business decision. There's nothing about football that's relevant here. Other teams, like you look at a Fulham, the guy that got them up fired because it wasn't going well. They bring in a great coach like Ranieri, and they're going to stay up because of it, because they made a ruthless decision to get rid of him. Our club is full of babies who can't make correct footballing decisions. They make business decisions, and it hurts the team long term, I think.
Zed Jamie says, I'm not even joking. Jose's just said we only had one fit centre-back. So, yeah, I did say that. I thought that would be the case. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the let's get the violin out for Mourinho and start. If anybody, I'm going to talk about this on the call-in that we've got later on tonight, actually. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We're nearly close. We're getting closer to 306,000. Loads of shows on the United Stand. We'll have a match reaction. We've also got the Discord call-in, which will be about half an hour after the final whistle, where you can call in, have your say. Flex is at the Game for Fan Cams, Sunday Night Live, 8 o'clock on Monday. Loads of shows. Get involved. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. But it's some of the stuff he said this morning, late last night, in the sanctions part of the press conference, were nigh on disgraceful. He spoke about Spurs, saying that 10 years ago United could sign players from Spurs, but now they can't because Spurs are as powerful as United are. He said that United cannot be compared to United of the past. That's unfair to do that because it's harder to deal in the transfer market. And I just thought, you know what? It's the old violin again, isn't it? It's trying to manipulate fans to make them go, oh yeah, Jose's right. And as I said this morning, Spurs are what Everton are now. 10 years ago, Spurs were like Everton. We signed Everton's best player last year. You also broke the world transfer record 2 years ago. 10 years ago, we sold Ronaldo and replaced him with Valencia and Owen. There's this myth. Mourinho's had way more money than Sir Alex Ferguson ever had. But he tries to twist the opinion that it was easier for Sir Alex 10 years ago than it is now. Sir Alex Ferguson won titles after Ronaldo had gone with an ageing team. He won a title with a one-man team, Van Persie. He did it the hard way. In the latter years, we were not as good as we were in the early years under Sir Alex. But Mourinho is trying to twist it and saying we shouldn't expect that success because it's harder to have that success now. Spurs are a decent team now because they've got a manager in from Southampton who's made bargain basement signings and developed youth. Yeah, I don't understand where Mourinho's coming from with these things. And as he took, and again saying I've got one fit centre back, well, it's not strictly true, is it? You have got Twansibi on loan at Villa, who's doing fantastically well. You have got Rojo, who's on the bench. You know, there are things that you can do. But it's all about him being able to say, well, I didn't get my centre-back in the summer. And that'll be his excuse if we lose tonight, and he'll stay in a job.
Yeah. I mean, Mourinho is one of the most self-serving managers out there. And again, it's the board's fault for hiring a checkbook manager and expecting that they didn't have to give him a full checkbook. In today's day and age, you could justify and argue that Mourinho hasn't been backed enough. That doesn't mean that he hasn't been backed. He bought the wrong people. Did the board buy him? Did he buy him? You don't really know. The end result is just very simple, that Mourinho has always been successful when he spends and outspends everyone around him. And you can't outspend City, and you can't outspend a team that sold a player for £165 million. So in the end, Mourinho is in a shitty situation, but he does not make it better for himself ever. Coming out after we qualify against Young Boys the way that we did and saying I've never missed a group stage or a knockout stage is a joke. It's banter. It doesn't make sense. Everything results in him. I argued the point that when he did that little gesture at Juventus, that's old Mourinho. I want to see that. You know, I think it's wrong to criticize it, but then he does things consistently that just, you can't argue an individual moment with Mourinho anymore. Everything is related to Mourinho United, not Manchester United. And it starts to get to the point where you say, this just isn't working. Pochettino got no money in the summer. $0. No money. Not one signing. And look at how they're playing. It shows that there is a way and a manager who can develop talent in a different way. It's just not Mourinho. So if that's the way the club's going to go, just bring in someone like that, not Mourinho.
A Biggie Third says Mourinho is determined to take everybody down with him. The board have handcuffed themselves to a dead prostitute and left the keys at the station. Mark my words, Mark will win 4-0. Not even joking, says Hadyal Mahal. You know what? I actually have been saying that myself. I think there's something, when he picks a team that's so ridiculously stupid, everyone thinks, oh, we're going to get beat. And you might be right, but I've just got a funny feeling that something weird might happen because Southampton are poor. But I tell you what, if you play that team against Arsenal or Liverpool, it will get smacked. But again, in a game like this, who knows? Just looking on BT Sports there, it looks like the team that we're going to play has Matic and Jones as centre-back, with Scott McTominay as a CDM, Pogba next to Herrera, which I quite like, Fellaini ahead of them in a diamond, and then Rashford and Lukaku up front. So it's not the normal 4-3-3 we've been used to.
Okay. I mean, Fellaini's good up front. Again, it's just unfortunate that we're seeing him start in a team constantly, but whatever.
One fit centre-back, apparently, and it's Phil Jones. It's the thing of nightmares. But all I'll keep saying is Jose wants everyone to be sympathetic to him because he's like, I wanted a centre-back, I didn't get one. I'll keep saying it. Fred, £50 million. Dalot, you're not even, apparently Dalot was going to play today. That's another 20. £70 million. There's a centre-back. Why don't you go and get a centre-back? Looks to me like he got Fred because it was a little bit of a luxury item. He got Dalot because it's a lip service to youth. He spent 70 million and he wanted the centre back, and they went no. It's bad planning. He should have got the centre back first because actually we could do with that centre back now. We've not used Fred or Dalot, so we may as well not have them. Bad planning over the summer, as we knew, would come back and bite us, and Mourinho predicted it himself. It's almost like he's taking joy in this, I feel, Jared, that it is all going tits up because he predicted it.
Yeah, and you look at the person that he wanted originally, it was Umtiti, and he had a £47 million release clause. So you could say that maybe that was who he was told he was going to get. They screwed the deal up and it didn't work out. Again, I don't know that Mourinho and this current transfer environment is ever going to be successful because you have to pay more and the board's not willing to back him. So it's never worked. Fred did not seem like as necessary of a signing as a center back would have, but the center backs he wanted, we had rumors that they were all 30, and then we had rumors that he wanted two of the best center backs in the world, so you don't really know who to believe. Again, this club is the biggest club in the world. You can't be putting managers in here and stifling them. So that's a longer term discussion, but when Mourinho leaves this year, they're going to have to make sure the manager they bring in understands where the club's going the next few years, because you can't bring in a guy who needs £250 million a summer.
Apparently Mourinho has said that Eric Bailly has a pain in the back, so he's not available to play. Apparently it's lower back, arse, pain in the arse, and it's called Jose Mourinho. Chris Smalling's got a pain in his foot. Matic is playing as centre-back. I mean, to be honest with you, what irritates me about this game is we better bloody win it, because if we lose it, the excuses are totally and utterly... they're there, aren't they? They're ready. And that's what concerns me, is that if we lose this game today, it should be about kicking him out of the club, but I hope we win it, because the excuse is already there and he will stay. They've got injury concerns themselves, to be fair. Southampton, no Bertrand and no Danny Ings, so they've got a good couple of players that are unable to play. They're an unknown quantity, Southampton. We had the Southampton fan on the other night, Jared, and everybody who's watching, and they said, look, you know, we never know what our best 11 is. He's always changing his centre backs. We don't know what his philosophy is. And we don't score many goals. And I went, yeah, when are you going to talk about Southampton then? Because I thought we were talking about United, but apparently Southampton have very, very similar issues. Red Jedi says, if Jose was the best manager in the world, he wouldn't need £500 million to beat Southampton or Palace. Exactly. He's got the resources. He just doesn't use the resources. Well, you know, he does use the resources. He uses them in the way he wants to use them, which isn't really befitting of what United want. But Matic at centre-back says Andy M01, and Jeveth says that starting 11, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Saban says it's a good team and most of you are lost. There you go, bit of positivity.
I guess. I mean, it's a team with good players in it, but they're not playing like a team. It's not 11 people playing together. It seems to be a team of individuals at the current moment too, which is even worse. But again, I think you look at the people you want to be successful long-term at this club, that the club can say they're building something, and people are on the bench, and it just doesn't add up. It's like this, to me, would have been a perfect game for a Rashford and a Martial to be starting together, right? I'm not saying Rashford's on form, but we should be able to beat Southampton. And we're bringing in McTominay, and we're bringing in Lukaku, and there's no consistency. The guy has not had a consistent lineup in 3 years of being here, and it's not going to be a consistent lineup until the day he's removed from his job.
Glenn, I agree. If we win, nothing changes. No, but other than the fact that, I'm not going to say, there's nothing to get excited about that 11, even if we win 5-0, because that 11's crap. That's not a top 4 team. I don't think it's even a top 6 team, but it should be good enough to beat Southampton. So I agree with you. If we win, nothing changes. But if we lose, I still think Mourinho will stay because he's got his excuses in place. I presume Southampton are a team that plays high ball, because I cannot... Pereira's actually played that CDM role a couple of times this season and done it well, and can dictate and move the ball a lot quicker than McTominay. So I presume there is a reason why we're playing so many tall players today. And I don't know enough about Southampton, but I presume Southampton are a threat in the air, because we've got McTominay, who's over 6'3", Pogba's 6'3", Matic is over 6'2", Fellaini obviously is as well. I don't think Herrera's that small. So, it's a very, very tall Manchester United side. Southampton will win 4-0. I don't think Southampton will score 4 goals in the whole season, to be honest. They're struggling, but they're just a bunch of players in a United shirt. This ain't a team, says Buzz Ed. Joe Amito says, hello, I'm Brazilian. Hello. It's going to be a laborious 1-0 win for United, says Monroe. Land of the Giants, says Josh Smith. All the blame will go to Pogba, says RJB. And... yeah, I mean, look, what? I just wanted to pick up on Rashford there. I mean, I defended him in the week. He should have scored some of them chances. But the thing I always think about Rashford is, and I've had experience of this over the years, watching many strikers. The good thing about Rashford is he actually is getting the chances. All he's got to do is put them away, and if he keeps getting in the chances, he will put them away. The worrying thing about Lukaku is he's not even getting the chances. Rashford could have had a hat-trick in the first half the other night, and I don't think there's a lot wrong with Rashford's game, Jared. I just think it's the finishing. And once he masters that, I mean, maybe he could get a couple of goals tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect game for him to get them, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and I think, I can't remember the last time Lukaku scored as well. I mean, he's a passenger. He's got to turn up tonight, really.
But again, Lukaku I have a much bigger problem with than Rashford, because Rashford is a young player who's developing into something special, we hope. Lukaku is a £90 million player, and again, £75 million with a £15 million bonus. Raiola did that. He made that type of player come here. He put the price tag on him. You have to live up to the price tag when you're sold. That's transfer business for you. And if you're Lukaku, was the price tag too much? I mean, we knew what we were getting. You said it many times. Lukaku is the first touch of a brick wall, and it's never changed. It never has gotten better. His pace and his physicality are an unbelievable attribute, and they'll be good in this game. But it's just, it gets you to the point where you say, first of all, why does he look like he ate all of Denny's? You know, it looks, he's fat. Lukaku is fat at this point, and you sit there and you say, how are you not in the gym every day? What is it? I don't know anymore. I don't know, and I don't know what is going to fix it. And I think that's what's most frustrating for a fan.
Definitely. And we, you know, just talking about Pogba there, I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Pogba. Some people aren't, but I will concede this. He's got to perform in a game like this. It's Southampton, for God's sake. This is the thing that Pogba needs to do. We know he can play well against Man City, but he's got to start running these sort of games. Yeah,
I mean, I've given Pogba a lot of stick, and I've thought that he should be bossing the entire team around. He has the talent in him to do that. A game like this is made for Pogba. So you wonder and you watch him to see if he can take over the game or not. I assume he will have a very good game. So we hope so. But when he doesn't, it gets this criticism on him immediately because he is by far more talented than the entire Southampton team. So it's very hard to justify not having a good game.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I would say, looking around the live comments there, it's you know, I think people wouldn't be surprised if we won the game, but you should see a Manchester United team and be excited by it. And I think that's the problem, is a lot of people are looking at that team and going, oh my God. And yeah, you know, we might have issues at centre-back, but that doesn't excuse why he said Dalot was going to play and he doesn't bloody pick him. It doesn't explain why McTominay, who, I mean, Jose Mourinho created an award for McTominay last year to call him Player of the Year. And, you know, I don't think McTominay's been involved since the West Ham game. So
no, and I don't think he deserved that award. And again, it's Mourinho has a lot of bizarre tendencies, and in the past they have worked for him, not against him, until he's left the club.
Mourinho's just talking now, so I was going to read what he says. But WWE Bates, he says, joke of a selection, so negative. And I think that's for me. You didn't need to play McTominay. You could have played McTominay. You could have played Herrera where McTominay is, and then played Lingard or Mata alongside, or Pereira or Fred alongside Pogba. That's the thing. It's too negative as far as I'm concerned. The McTominay one, I understand the centre back issue. Matic playing with with Jones, okay, that's fine. But the midfield issue of playing McTominay when you could have played Pereira, Fred, Mata, or Lingard in that position, most of which are internationals, just stuns me really. It's a bit too negative.
Yeah, and at what point does the board wake up and say this isn't Manchester United? Like, this isn't what this team is.
Well, then the trouble with the board is they're not Manchester United either. With all due respect, you've got Americans who probably don't know who United are, and Ed Woodward, who's a businessman, so they don't know what United is. They're probably just sat there counting the coin.
Yeah, I mean, Woodward brokered the deal for the Glazers to buy this club, so his whole sole and number one purpose here is money. Money. And he does it very well. He brings in more money in sponsorship deals than anyone else in the world. But the football sucks. And at some point it's going to catch up with the board. But once it catches up, is it going to be too late to fix it? Is it going to be a 5-year process? Or more, you know, an even more worrisome situation, is it going to be Liverpool where you're 20 years without a trophy? I mean, 20 years, not a league title, I should say. But it's 5 already. And we're no closer to when Ferguson left.
Lethargic Manchester United, I love this. We are 16th in the league for distance covered per game. I mean, that is absolutely terrible. Sprints per game, 18th. There's only 20 in the league. I mean, you know, Mourinho can talk about many things, but we were the same last year. You know, either the players, Mourinho would have you believe that the players aren't doing what he's asking them to do. But this has been going on for 2 years, that we've been in the bottom 4 for distance covered. So if that's been going on for 2 years, they're not doing what the manager wants, or they are. If they're not doing what the manager wants, then he should be sacked because they're not doing what the manager wants. If he's lying to us and that is his tactics, he should be sacked. I mean, that is, for me, one of the most disappointing things about Manchester United is the laziness. Watching us against Palace last week, every time they get the ball, we were dropping off, scared. Mirrored Jeremy says the Glazers NFL has always been crap, expect 1 year. And Red Baron says, I can't believe I'd rather be in Arsenal's position. This is depressing. Would Barca, Bayern, PSG accept this? No, I'm not. Now I'm starting to get annoyed with some of our fans defending Jose. Well, it's all about opinion, isn't it? It's all about opinion. Cool Jag says it's the worst lineup I've seen. Jose out, end of. And Paul Robinson says we've not outrun or outsprinted any teams this season. Stats on BT Sports. Yeah, exactly. I've wanted to see that one for a while, Jared, because I remember the last time I saw it was Christmas last year, and we were second from bottom for distance covered, and I hadn't seen that stat. It's hard to get hold of, so BT have just flashed it up there. 16th again, bottom, right down near the bottom for distance covered. And that to me, distance covered is all about effort. So
it speaks to a bigger problem. The way the game is going nowadays, it's high pressing, high energy, constant fitness, and the ability to be in the top 3 or 4 in fitness, distance covered, and sprints, because you're going to be covering the ball consistently. It's what Liverpool, it's what City, it's what Tottenham do. They cover the second the other team is on the ball, they're on them. And we just don't do it. We give people space. We give terrible teams the ability to set up these one chances a game, and that's where we hurt ourselves. And it's never going to get fixed with Mourinho. It's not. You can argue a lot of things with Mourinho. You can argue the defender again, but his play style just doesn't work for today's day and age. It doesn't. It's dinosaur tactics.
Thanks for coming on, Jared, and doing the team news for us. Really, really appreciate that.
Pleasure, as always.
I'm sure we'll see you in the live comments and stuff, but I really appreciate it, mate.
Anytime, bud. See ya.
See you later, pal. AJ King says, WTF, which is what the F, is this team? Jose needs to get his head tested. Yeah, look. I'm sure Jose's lost his team due to his stubbornness and narcissistic attitude. If this is what he's instilling United, we are doomed, says Ali Hassan. The one thing I would say is, though, because, like Paul was saying there, this is the second season in a row that we've been near the bottom of the league for distance covered. It's always a cliche when a new manager comes in that they go, I can't believe how unfit this team is. I've got to inherit a team that's really not fit. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee for whoever our next manager is. Some people will say, oh, they must be really fit then because they don't run around as much. No, it'll be the opposite. The more you run, the fitter you get. We probably have got one of the unfittest teams in the league, which is shocking. And that just comes down to a pragmatic manager who plays slow football, to be honest. The game is on BT Sports over here in the UK, Ford Lex. No manager in the Premier League history have picked a starting 11 that is as bad as this, says Ziggy. Maybe Jose just wants to do it and win it with a weird team, Buzzing says that Mourinho came purposely to destroy Manchester United. And Red Jedi, guys, Jose tells them to play fast attacking football, one-touch football. Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Lingard don't like playing that way. Yeah, okay. Sarcasm there from Red Jedi. Yeah, well, if you listen to Mourinho and you listen to his press conference yesterday, apparently he does send us out to play fast attacking football. Yeah, that's evident in the team you've just picked, Jose. We believe you. Mad Marcus could get into this team, says Luca. I wouldn't go that far. I think I could. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. Get involved with the channel. Fantastic community. We have got the call-in coming up after the show. We'll do my quick match reaction, then we'll do the call-in. So that's going to be very interesting. Win, lose or draw. Obviously we've got Sunday Night Live tomorrow night as well at 8 o'clock. There's normally a couple of videos a day going up on the channel, so get involved. Have your say. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're getting closer to 306,000. And also drop a like on the video. We like a superstition 1,000 likes before kickoff. I'm sure many of you don't feel like doing it, but we'll take anything we can. We've got to win today. We've got to win today. If you look at the league table, just for a very quick moment, if we were not to win today, I don't think we're getting top 4 anyway, so I'm not even going to say if we don't win today, we're not getting top 4. But we're currently in 8th. We were 7th this morning. We're 8th at the moment because Leicester have won. If we draw, we'll go back up to 7th. If we win, we can go to 6th because Everton don't play till tomorrow. But we are currently 7 points off Chelsea in 4th place. and Chelsea are playing Fulham at home tomorrow, so I'd expect Chelsea to win. So if we win, we should just be able to maintain that gap unless Tottenham lose at Arsenal, in which case it would come down to 6 points. But it's massive, 7 points to 4th place. It's a massive gap, that is. Massive. And we're not even at Christmas. It's the 1st of December and we're 7 points off 4th place. If we were to lose or draw today, that gap will go bigger. Could go up to 9 points. So we've got to win today. I know we can be frustrated and negative about the result, about the team, of course. I don't have a massive problem with that. But we've got to win, regardless of the team. And look, I'm not lying. You know, the reality is that starting lineup is massively concerning, even if we do win. What is Manchester United doing, putting a team like that out? The land of the giants, you know, negative, slow side. Why are we doing that? That's not Manchester United. Where's the flair in that team? You know, it's not enough in there. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we need to win. Mo Abid says that fitting that Michael Owen is the pundit. Hashtag boring. Yeah, he must have seen the team news. George Kyle doesn't think we're going to win. Get in the comments with your predictions on the score. Ryan FTW says 4-3-1-2 formation, 3 DMs against Southampton. WTF. I think whatever anybody thinks, they don't want to win. They don't want to lose the game, do they? He doesn't want to lose the game. That's why it's very negative. Both managers close to the sack. The difference is Southampton players are playing for their manager, and that's kicker, says Aaron Eves. I don't know anything about Southampton. I don't know whether they are playing for their manager or not. We'll have to wait and see about that one. But look, United have got to win. We've got to win, haven't we? Let's be honest with it. Let's be honest with you. I've been looking forward to this game. I've really been looking forward to this game. So I hope it can deliver. A lot of people going with a loss. Oh, Hamish says 3-0 United, though. A lot of 0-0s, a couple of 1-1s. Eric says 2-1 to Southampton. Carl Cram says 1-0 Southampton. Loads of 0-0s. 2-2. 4-0 to Southampton, says Devante. I think if we deliver something like that, Jose would have to go, wouldn't he? Although he would say I've only got one centre-back fit. I can't predict. I can't predict anymore. I mean, I couldn't see how we wouldn't beat Crystal Palace last week and we didn't do it. We'll probably go and win 4-0 tonight. Those are the rules, aren't they? That's what it seems to be all about at the moment. Players are coming out anyway. Big weekend, isn't it, as well? Fury, Wilder, obviously the Derby days tomorrow. Big day. United have got to deliver. You know what? As a kid, I always used to get very stressed if United weren't like in the title race at Christmas, because obviously you'd go to school and stuff, and you know, college and stuff. You'd be off for a couple of weeks over Christmas, just switch off. Football will be on the telly. You might get up to a couple of games as well. And I just used to be like, oh, as long as we're in the race at Christmas, because it's a nice time of year to be off and be in the race, makes the games more interesting. I mean, to think that we might not even be in the race for top 4 for Christmas is massively depressing, isn't it? It really is. We've got to win. We've got to win tonight. I think we will. I've got a feeling that United are going to do it. He's playing his brick wallers, isn't he? The Phil Jones, the Matic, the Lukaku, the McTominays. He's doing that. Jake Page says, am I the only one hoping we lose to see him get sacked? I don't think you are, Jake. I think there's a few people like that. Not for me. I'm not quite at that stage. Partly because I don't think he will get the sack if we lose. He's got his excuses ready already, hasn't he? People are overreacting. Southampton is a really bad team. You're probably going to win 2-0 or 2-1, even with this lineup, says Franklin Clinton, 98. I agree with you, Franklin. I do. To be frank, Franklin, I do agree with you. I think that United will win. I think we've got enough, because I just don't think Southampton are actually quite good enough. I've got Dan joining me for the match. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, Mark? How you been, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. You?
Okay until I saw the lineup.
Yeah. I don't think you're in the minority there. I mean, just we're not far off kickoff, but just give us your thoughts on the thoughts process of Jose Mourinho.
There isn't any. That's the best part. He's finished, been finished. Just the negativity that comes out when you pick a lineup like this against a team that's in the bottom three. What else is there to say? He's just making selections just to make selections. McTominay has he even been a sub in any of the games in the last 10 games? No, but they'll find a place for him to start. Just
I don't remember him playing since Southampton, to be honest. Sorry, not Southampton, West Ham. But there you go. Mark Atherton says this team is like Space Jam and we are the monsters. Huge slow giants with the likes of Bugs Bunny and Taz running rings round us. Hopefully not. But you did make me laugh with that. We are a bit like the monsters in Space Jam, to be fair. Not quite at kickoff yet. A couple of minutes to go. I still think, despite the terrible team, I think we will have enough to get through it. And I'm just counting on the fact that Southampton are terrible. Dan,
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna wholeheartedly disagree and say we'll be lucky to get a draw, because and that's not because of the players that we have out there. It's because these players have never played with each other before. Have we ever used this lineup? No. Have we played with Matic as a center back to start a whole game, McTominay in the midfield, whatever the hell we're doing, a diamond 4-1-5-8-2-4. There's no the players are beside the point. There's nothing there that suggests. Put it this way, he'll pick a somewhat consistent team, and we haven't been playing well. With the odd exception, he'll leave out Pogba and he'll bring in this player, or he'll leave out Martial and he'll bring in Rashford or Lingard or whoever, but this is a team that hasn't even seen the pitch together.
Well, I'm just looking at Mourinho there on the touchline. He does look very, very relaxed, which is something I've noticed for a while with Jose. He does seem very, very relaxed, which to me suggests that he knows. He was talking about the Valencia game in a couple of weeks' time, and he's going to play Pereira and McTominay. I mean, we've got Arsenal, we've got Fulham before then. Surely if you lose a couple of those, you won't be there for Valencia. But I think he will. I think he's in a very, very comfortable position.
Not so sure, only because when you're at a job that you're going to leave, and your employers kind of know you're going to leave, and you're going to leave. You have one foot out the door. You're kind of abject to a lot of stuff that's going on. So it could be that he's comfortable because he thinks he's safe, or it could be that he already knows he's out. I look at it either way, but
we're up and running anyway. Nicholas P says, "Where's the vegan Tarzan today?" Mike Smalling, and Bjorn Lundberg says, "We have absolutely no width. What's Jose thinking? He doesn't like width anyway." Smalling's hurt his foot apparently, so he's out. And who else? Bay is apparently injured as well. Rashford's took a knock here. There's nothing in it really. I just think it was just coming together, and I think Rashford hopefully will be okay. In fact, it's a foul to them. Sorry, don't worry. I'm not swearing allegiance to Southampton, despite my frustration at the team. So an early free kick for Southampton. I said this, Dan. I presume Southampton are good in the air because I can't understand why we've played so many tall players.
Well, they actually don't have too big of a team. They got Redmond, Gabbiadini, Lamina in the midfield, Højbjerg in the midfield. They're kind of, apart from their center back Vestergaard and Yoshida, they're pretty small.
Well, maybe we're trying to win with height then.
We're probably going to just pump the ball up in there for minute one, because as of now we haven't even got the ball past midfield and we're playing a bunch of head tennis. So
to me it looks like we're playing a back three as well, because McTominay's playing alongside Jones and Matic is playing to the left hand side, which means it's Fellaini, Herrera. Yeah, we're playing a 3-5-2. So we have got width. Lukaku up front with Rashford, Pogba, Herrera and Fellaini. And Yoshida's just dealt with Lukaku easily. That should have been a foul, actually. And Lukaku's just been skinned by their centre-back. Good start. Good stuff. And they're comfortably playing it out the back at the moment.
Yep. Oh,
Corner.
Goalie had a little...
I don't know, that ball must have gone out.
It's still in.
It needs a Benny Hill theme music. Keeper messing around. Rashford should have bloody scored again. Now it's Southampton on the attack against their three centre-backs and a long shot. Yeah, we've got McTominay, Jones and Matic playing as centre-backs at the moment. We should have scored here. I don't know what Rashford's doing.
It's lazy.
It looked like it went out to me. Yeah, I think Rashford knew it had gone out. That's why he was lazy, and the ref played it on.
Lukaku needs 9 touches too just to get it out of his feet. That's the best part. Yeah, but cue the Benny Hill music is right.
It was lazy by Rashford, and he did have a look, but the back kick was terrible. We should have been 1-0 up there. Gungshi says, get ready for Jose's quality street United. This is becoming a thing now. It was only a joke the other night, but yeah.
Listen, man, you say things, they get legs. Forget about it. It's off to the races.
Just like to see some quality football.
Not with this lineup. I heard what you were saying before. You and Jab were speaking about the, when Sir Alex was on and doing with teams that didn't have as much money pumped into it. I mean, I'm trying to just think back off the top of my head. The last time they bought a world-class player who was the best player in their position. It almost never happens. And the other day, Jose was going on about how we don't have the clout in the transfer market to get world-class players, but we never done. That's never been a thing. We've taken some of the best talent from Britain. I understand that, but in terms of going out getting a Ronaldo 9 or a Ronaldinho or Figo, but that's never been our style. We take players that we have that are good and we make them very good. We take young players and make them great. That's what United's all about. There's nothing to do with going out.
It actually made me quite angry this morning. I did a little Twitter video on it because basically Mourinho was trying to say that it's unfair to compare United of the past to United now because it's changed because of all the money and everything. But actually, I think United now, probably like Spurs now, we didn't really go and we spent some money, but not masses of money. We did, sort of promote and get by with what we've got on good coaching. Mourinho has spent way more than Sir Alex Ferguson ever spent. I mean, we broke the world transfer record for Pogba in his first summer. So I just think he wants to rewrite history to sort of make excuses, but.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, I don't think he even is that in tune with our history because I think, according to him, look at that.
It's a bit sloppy, isn't it, between Lukaku and Rashford at the moment? Sending
him a through ball when he wasn't running. But you just got to love how he deflects and to say that, when Sir Alex was here, we could kind of go and get anybody we wanted. And that may well be true, but hold on, we're on a little attack here.
I think the ref, to be honest, has been pretty lenient towards us on a couple of fouls by Rashford and Lukaku, and he's let it go both times so far. But
what I was just saying there about the transfers was, we'd get a Rooney and a Roy Keane, and we'd snap up good talent, Andy Cole, players like that, but we were never going out there and getting Zidane's in and players like that. That just wasn't. That's not part of the DNA. That's not part of the makeup. We'd have good players and we'd promote them to the team. That's dead, and our manager now wants to just go out there and buy whoever he sees fit as a world-class player.
Southampton there. Good block by Phil Jones. Fast on the break there. Yeah, you're right. Rooney obviously was world-class, but he was very young. Roy Keane, again, world-class, but we bought him young and turned him into world-class. I mean, obviously they had the traits to be that, but... Yeah, Ronaldo, again, obviously wasn't world-class when we signed him. I can't think of I think the one that sort of sticks out to me, and I'm sure people in the live comments will mention one or two others, was Varane. Varane was obviously at the top of his game when we bought him, didn't work out. Van Nistelrooy wasn't. Tevez maybe a little bit, but he was, sort of alone.
Right, and also too, he was playing at West Ham. I mean, he wasn't we weren't getting players from a Real Madrid or Barca, like I said, like a Figo or a Ronaldinho. That just wasn't happening. So to say that that's what we need to do now to get back on the level of a City is, I'm call me naive, but I just don't think that's necessary. I think we have a lot of talent in this team, especially in the academy. We have a lot of talent on this team that's not being used. Deleuze, Fred, that you could get to those type of levels without overhauling the squad. Now, is some quality needed? Yes, but he's making it sound like he needs to go home and play FIFA.
Van Persie was good. To be fair, he was a good signing.
Absolutely,
and we won a title with it. But Van Persie definitely.
But to me, can you even? I mean, and I loved RVP when he was here, and I even liked him as an Arsenal player. But can you say that he was the best striker in the game, the entire game at that time? Probably not. You know, because Ronaldo was still playing as a forward at the time for Real Madrid. So I just think he feels like we need to go out there and get the best player in that position in order to be a complete team or to play as a complete team. And it's just a bullshit excuse, and it's annoying, really.
Daniel says that Van Nistelrooy was world class. He was, but he wasn't when we signed him. We signed him from PSV, so he wasn't world class when we bought him. Sir Alex Ferguson had this knack of turning people into world class. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. I'd say at the moment this game's going pretty much the way I would have thought it. Southampton don't look particularly good. United not very coherent, but you sort of feel that we will get a goal at some point. I mean, as I say, I think you put this team against a decent opposition and they'll get smashed, but I think we should have enough. This Southampton team, to me, Daniel, it doesn't seem like it's got much in it. I just don't see much.
No, I like Kjorbeer and I like Lamina. They're good players. They're good midfielders and they're quick. And we have a very slow midfield. Herrera apart, but going forward, I just think that them. What a touch!
Lovely, I just think that them. Pogba. And then he loses it. Oh, that's Pogba for you in a little few seconds. There, falls over, controls it on the ground, a little bit of a dribble, then gives it to a Southampton player. It's just typical Pogba. It just doesn't work out, does it? But
no. But also too, you notice in that thing, Lukaku doesn't come close to him to get the ball. He runs away from him, which a lot of guys do on this team. You know, a player will get the ball and everyone runs away from the ball. Got to give him an option.
Trader Zone, is Martial injured? I think there was something said. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. Apparently Mourinho said it would be impossible for Martial to play 90 minutes 3 times in a week. So maybe there's something in that. I don't know.
Right, as a 22-year-old, but you know, Matic is 30, can't move, but he'll play 90 minutes every game this season.
Exactly. You know, everything Mourinho says you've got to, you know, take with a pinch of salt, haven't you? It is porridge football, Kyron, but you know what? I'm not going to moan about that because we knew it was going to be porridge football because players can only play a certain way. Like Mourinho said himself, you know, Fellaini's not going to become Maradona, is he? And he's the man taking the ball off the back 4. So, back 5, actually, isn't it? What was your score prediction, Daniel?
We'd be lucky to get a 1-0, I'd say. I think it's going to be a 1-1 or a 0-0, but I just don't think we'll win. We'll be lucky to win. But with this lineup, lucky to win.
It's got to be miles offside. Luke Shaw, yeah. Call it how it is, says... Oh, sorry, call it how I see it, says Lukaku already sweating like he's playing in Dubai. Well, the thing is, he hasn't got the excuse of the home kit with the black bit around the bottom that makes him look a bit wide. He's in the blue kit today, and he still looks wide because he's put too much muscle on, I think.
Yeah, he's spending too much time in the gym. Jared says he needs to get in the gym. I think he needs to get out of the gym. He needs to get out of the gym and hit the hit the running track a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's muscle. I don't think it's fat because he's not had any time off, to be fair. You know, he was in the World Cup. He started playing for United straight away afterwards, so I just think he's bulked up too much.
Yeah, I'd agree. What's your thought on no Pereira today? I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't predictable, but to see McTominay come back into the team when he's been out of it for 2 months.
No, I don't really get it, to be honest. 1-0 to Southampton. Absolute shit. Absolute shit. There it is. They're passing it around. Nobody's going for the tackle. And Armstrong just blasts it in. This just, I tell you, it's almost like a training exercise. What's De Gea supposed to do from there? You know, absolutely terrible. Breadstick defending. You know, rich tea biscuit defending. Stick it in a bloody cup of tea and it'll dissolve in seconds. Shit. Absolutely shit, that is. I was nearly falling asleep with the Southampton attack. No tackles going in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players there. And they play one pass and blast it home. It's shocking, Daniel. Absolutely shocking. It's almost like the players have given up.
If you actually watch it back, it's Matic twice. First time gets bumped off the ball. Second time totally loses Armstrong here on the left side. And that's 1-0 to the Saints. It's just awful. Goes from bad to worse. And Sparky's always up for it when they play us, you know.
Well, that's the game plan out the window.
If we even had a game plan.
The thing is that nobody's surprised, are we? Is anybody actually surprised in the live comments? I mean, Mourinho stood there like someone smacked him around the face with a wet fish. Jose, like, how far down do you want to go? How far down do you want to go? How deluded do you want to be? Everybody predicted it with that lineup. And hopefully we can get back and win it. But defensively, that is shit. It really is. To have 9 players around the ball and they play one pass out wide. I mean, there wasn't enough Southampton players there. They had about 3, maybe 4 players. We had 9. United players must have been actually marking each other instead of the Southampton players. Ridiculous.
Listen, I mean, I know you said that, you know, hopefully we could get back into it. But to be honest with you, Mark, I mean, call me whatever you want. People say that I'm not a real fan, but I could care less. If this is going to get him closer to being out the door, then so be it. What do you get from coming back and winning a game like this? So we could come back and say, well, you know, we have great character in the last 45 minutes of a game, but, you know, we can't play for a half, or we go away to Southampton and we're on the back foot. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Well, I mean, I did say that as well. Well, we both said it, didn't we? That the issue is, even if we win this game, this team is an embarrassment. You know, if you've got Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs fans, this team is an embarrassment. Even if we won this game 1-0, which we can't do now, or 2-1, it's still grinder, isn't it? You know, we may as well be on bloody grinder. At least we'd score, because it's grinding out results. That is what Manchester United are doing. We're just grinding out results. And it's not like we haven't got Fred, Pereira, Dalot, you know, we've got Martial, you know, we've got players. We've even got some youth players that would excite people. Chuck Greenwood in. I know he's like, you know, young. Chong, Gomez, I don't really care. Just do something that the fans can cling on to. Because if you're going to lose anyway, what's the bloody point? You know, he set a team out today to park the bus to try and grind a result out. And after 10 minutes, it's 1-0 down anyway.
No, I know, but you'll have people out there saying, you know, we need to give him time or we need to give him money. What is there to give? You got Phil Jones is playing forward now. Look how far he is up the field.
Yeah, because the game plan's gone. I mean, Man United 84 has made a contribution. He says, what do we expect with McTominay, Jones, Matic as centre-back and Fellaini holding? Well, they're all holding hands, mate. They're all holding hands there. You know, you can play as many defenders as you like, but if they don't know how to defend... I mean, Fellaini's passing the ball to Southampton players. I mean, it's a bloody nightmare. You've got Jones, Matic and McTominay as the back 3 with Fellaini in front of them. It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. Wearing a Manchester United badge. You know, who'd have thought? You know, you didn't think things could get worse than Moyes. Well, hello, here we are.
This is far worse than Moyes and far worse than Van Gaal.
And again, we're playing somebody who's passing the ball around. And you know, again, we might win this game, but we're not the better team again.
No, it's just like we were saying earlier. It's gotten progressively worse. There's no tactics. There's no know-how. There's no nous. You know, do you think he even? To be honest with you, do you think he even scouts the opponent, however good or bad they are? I don't even think he gives a shit. I think he just puts his team out there, what he thinks is a team, and then, you know, go ahead, kick the ball around. You know, he says they work on things in training. What are they working on?
Exactly.
You know, a lot of people today were saying, you know, this should be a game that Pogba should dominate, and, you know, Pogba should do this and Pogba should do that. He's got Fellaini to the right of him, McTominay and Matic behind him feeding the ball. How do you expect him to have a good game in this type of team? I'm not trying to defend him, because I'm as I'm as pretty objective to him as I am to all the players. I mean, I like him. He's a good player, but I'm not loyal to any one player. I'm loyal to the team. But how could you say that he should go and dominate a game when look at the talent he has next to him?
Red Jedi says, why play a 3-5-2 when you only have one fit centre-back? Play 4-3-3, then you can have one centre midfielder playing as a centre-back. Yeah, I think he's gone over the top, hasn't he? He's gone over the top with his team. It's a foul to Southampton here. Rashford's going to get booked. He's gone over the top, hasn't he? He's got one fit centre-back, so he's gone to overcompensate. I mean, to be fair, Rashford gets a bit of the ball there, but I think it's just because he gets the Southampton player's leg as well. So Rashford on a yellow card, which is not what you want, because Rashford, to be fair, he's a young kid. He's been sent off before. He is quite rash, isn't he? Because he cares. That's one to keep an eye out. Tip the Talker says Rashford's going for the red. It's a dangerous free kick area.
I think Cedric is gonna probably have a hit at this, which he's actually got a pretty good foot. I remember this was a player that United were talking about getting because he's Portuguese. He actually played for them when they won the Euro.
To him,
yeah, he was their right back for the Euros, but he actually has a good foot on him, and it's not too far out. This could be 2-0 here.
I'm just changing the score to 1-0 from 0-0 reluctantly. I don't want to be changing it again, so hopefully this won't happen. Got a couple of super chats here. Alligator. Let me just wait a minute, Alligator, because let's just see what happens with this free kick from Cedric. We don't need this going in. What's McTominay doing behind the wall? Embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing. What's Scott McTominay doing behind the wall? He's kneeling behind the bloody wall. Stand up, you pillock. What are we doing? 2-0 down? I cannot believe what I have just seen. What was Scott McTominay doing behind the wall? Kneeling down? What is he doing? Waiting for a low one? Get in the bloody wall and jump, you prick. What are we doing? 2-0 down. 20 minutes gone. Manchester United in absolute... I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson's having a laugh about it. Better to laugh than cry, Sir Alex, because this is a banter. I tell you what, December the 1st, it's a Christmas pantomime, Daniel. Absolute... It's a brilliant free kick, but I cannot understand what Scott McTominay's doing there.
Well, the best part is he's your tallest player next to Fellaini, and he's kneeling behind the fucking thing like he's at an altar saying his prayers. Better say your prayers, pal, because you got to pack your bags and get the fuck out of here. Because this whole thing, sorry to swear, Mark, this whole thing has just gone from. It's an absolute joke. This is your team that you've followed your entire life. The team that I and all these viewers on here, all our subscribers have followed their entire life, and this is what's become of this club. A laughingstock. Can't even go away to Southampton. You can't beat Palace at home. You go away to West Ham and lose. Pack it up. Fold it up.
Well, we need one of those gung-ho comebacks now that Mourinho keeps going on about, because plan A, as per usual, has been shit out already. You know, it's like toilet paper. I'll tell you what, whatever his tactics are for Arsenal, just wipe your arse on it, Jose, because whatever your plan A is, it never bloody works. Get Martial on now, get Fred on, let's go gung-ho and win it 3-2, because this boring shit clearly isn't going to work. Alligator says, I'll keep saying it, United no longer have the respect of their opponents. Nobody fears playing against us. Get this narcissistic coach the hell out. Well, for all those people, and I wasn't one of them, who said, I hope we lose so Mourinho gets the sack. If we do lose this game, I don't think he will get the sack, but it looks like you're getting what you want. Bad C says, sack Jose at half-time. I think we're getting a lot of people over here. Look, if you're a non-United fan here for a laugh, fine. You know, that's what football's all about. I can't fault you for coming over for a bit of banter. But if you're looking for shock, surprise or denial, you're in the wrong place. Get over onto Arsenal Fan TV, because we've been accepting this for a long time. We are shit. We are absolutely terrible. We hope, but that's all we've had for about 8 months now. Hope. It's not based on anything other than hope. Cross comes in, not bad from Young, gets rid of it. Adam K, isn't this a slap in the face to Woodward when he buys these players to sit them on the bench and you play these morons out of position? Absolute moron. And sub in Grant and spare De Gea, says Man United Boy 13. Look, to this day, I do not understand why we signed Fred. People will say, Daniel, that it wasn't a Jose Mourinho signing, but people who say that obviously don't understand that there is nobody above Jose Mourinho who knows anything about football that can go and sign players. You know, these people who think Ed Woodward signs our players, are you having a laugh? He, as I said about Fred millions of times, he wouldn't know what Shakhtar Donetsk is. He probably thinks it's a Hoover. He wouldn't be able to, he wouldn't know to sign Fred. So, and Mourinho's got form for this, hasn't he? He signs players and then doesn't pick them. Mkhitaryan didn't get picked when he first bought him. Lindelof didn't get picked when he first bought him. So I do despair, but here we've got a free kick. We've got to get something from this free kick. It's Mark Hughes, Southampton as well, says Roy Keane, simply the best. Oh, he'll be loving it. He'll be loving it, Roy Keane, simply the best. He'll be loving this. I don't even like... The thing is, I don't like Mark Hughes. Ex-United player, I like him. What he's done in his managerial career, he can't stick United. He will be loving this. He'll be sat on that bench, not able to stand up, because he'll expose the thing between his legs about how much he's loving it. Losing to Mark Hughes, I don't know. Christian Medina says, Mark, I had held on to hope long enough. Mourinho out now. Well, we got to try and get back into this game. Rashford. Corner.
Yeah, the thing is too about Mourinho buying players that he'll just sit on the bench. He also has a penchant for buying players that other teams want, just to get one over on managers he doesn't like. So he might even not have an intention of using the player. I think Fred too. I think Fred was going to go sign for City, and then we signed him for what? Not to use him. You know, he went on this whole tirade about how every team needs a Brazil.
Great cross by Young there, and McTominay. I don't know whether he should do that. Rada Christian says, Shakhtar is a Hoover. Mark, I laugh so hard, my bear is on the bloody floor. Well, I'm glad somebody can have a laugh. That is a free kick by Rashford. I know he gets a bit of the ball, but it is a free kick because it's reckless. This is the modern game, unfortunately. Dalot does not come in, says Hannibal Wolf. Yeah, well, he promised he was going to play. I'd like to see, instead of watching this back, I'd like to see that header from Scott McTominay there, because I thought it was a good chance. We've got to use the height. I hate to say it, as a Manchester United fan, I agree with you, Daniel. I hate to say it. We ain't going to pass our way in this game. We're just going to have to hoof, hoof, hoof. That's all we can do. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Join the nightmare. But no, seriously, big things have got to change at United. We will have the call-in straight after the show as well. You can call in and have your say. We've got fan cams at the ground. Poor sods who've waited. Oh, here we go. Southampton in again. Cut back. Good riddance. Get rid of it, Fellaini. We've got so many players back as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We've not changed. Should be sacked in the tunnel, says Innovations Inc.
Tons of players back there, so there's no outlet to even start a counter-attack.
Terrible, Rashford. He's just got no confidence. I saw somebody say in the live comments, Daniel, actually, I would like to get your opinion on this. I'll laugh my head off if we get smashed, because these are Jose's men. These are Jose's boys. These are the favourites, the Matiches, the McTominays, the Fellainys, the Lukakus, the Ashley Youngs. These are his boys. You know, these are the ones that are meant to be the ones who run through brick walls for him.
Yep, this is what he was saying last week. Was it when he said, you know, do I have to sacrifice some guys with talent for guys that have heart? And then people will say, well, if I play the guys that have heart, then I'm sacrificing the talent. Well, now he's got all the guys that he loves. And they're 2-0 down inside of 20 minutes to a team that's in the bottom three that hasn't won a home game in a year. I don't think they've won a home game in a year. Well,
they don't score many goals, and they're 2-0 up.
It's almost like, you know, when Moyes was here, everything that Moyes did was a first for Man United, or it was the first time in 30 years that they've done this. So Mourinho's setting a new bar, an extremely low. Because now it's you want to score more than one goal you haven't scored all year, play us. You want to win your first game in over 15 years, play us. It's honestly, not even trying to say this to be funny. It's worse than when Moyes was here by a long way.
Rashford's way back in his own half and has to give it to De Gea. So I mean, to be honest with you, I think every minute that passes, we can come back from 2-0 down. You know, we can still get something from this game. But he's got to change it. He's got to change it. You know, we're still parking the bus. We're still playing deep. We're still trying to hit them on the break. But they're going to hit us on the break because they're 2-0 up. He's got to change these tactics, Daniel. Everybody at home, he's got to change it, hasn't he?
He's got to do something because
you can't just sit there with Fellaini still stood in front of Matic, McTominay and Jones. That's 4 players before you get to a Southampton player. Hit it, Lukaku. Rashford. Oh my fucking life. That would miss a rugby goal. That's not even 3 points in rugby.
That's in row Z, my man. I know, but he'll look at Rashford like that's his fault. But you fucking 2-0 down because your buddy's back there, don't know what to do. Matic on the first goal, McTominay on the second, although yes, it was a good hit. He should be in the wall somewhere. He's the second tallest player we have. Because if you notice where that ball went over in the wall, it was over some of the shorter parts of the wall. If you put your giants in there that you put out on the field in the first place, that doesn't happen. I know, but he'll blame Rashford because he had one chance potentially and he missed it, and he had the back heel early on that he was lazy on. But it's probably his fault that we're losing. You know,
with 30 subscribers, anyway, let's have a positive. We're 30,000 subscribers away from 306,000, so give us something to smile about. Please subscribe, bottom right hand corner, get involved. We have got the call in coming up after the show. Give me strength. Give me strength.
Call-in's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be on fire.
Well, I hope we get some of these. I hope we get some of these Jose inners because I cannot. I've been saying this for 2 weeks now. On what level are you Jose in now? I mean, you've got to be the most. Your glass is so full. It must be bloody pouring out of it. I mean, you must be Mr. Positive. You must see the positive in everything. Oh look, I've just been run over. Oh, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. You know, it's like that level of optimism.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't get too many of them because they're all at the game apparently. Because the only supporters of Mourinho with the match-going supporters, the real Reds, the top Reds.
I tell you what, I was at the match last week and I didn't boo because I'm not a booer, but there was a lot of people booing last week. So I think even that's changing now. I think there's a lot of United fans who just back the club. I back the club. I support the club, but I can still be negative about who the manager is because I support the club.
Absolutely. And I've been saying that. Listen. This is the squad. This is the team I've supported my entire life, but doesn't mean I have to sit there and say that everything the manager does is fantastic. It's absolutely not. So,
I mean, God, Herrera just absolutely skinned there. If they score from this, which they haven't,
on ice skates,
they're just 1-2 in it through us like we're not there. We've got to get a goal before half time. Got to get a goal. I was going to say that. I mean, Herrera just got absolutely mugged off there, but I haven't really noticed Herrera or Pogba in this game much.
Yeah, no, same here. They've barely been able to get on the ball, but that's because, like I said before, who's behind them? I mean, look at McTominay here, waiting, pointing around, and what does he do? Sideways pass to Ashley Young. Same thing. Gets on the ball again.
Oh, I mean, all we've got here is long ball. That's all we're doing.
Well, the thing is too is who do you bring on? Like he's going to have to bring on guys that he doesn't even want to play, and then the guys that he's going to bring on, you know, you Martial, maybe a Fred, they're probably so fed up with the fact that they keep getting benched or they can't get any minutes in general. What are they possibly going to be able to pour into a game like this? Do you think they're going out there with their heart and going, yeah, let's get this result? They're not.
Here we go, Rashford. Oh, looking for Lukaku, but Lukaku's so slow there. It's so easy for the defender to read what's going to happen. We've got to get a goal before half time. Go on, Pogba. Jose needs to paint the hotel wall red, says Charles 199. As stupid as this statement's going to sound now, 2-0 is a dangerous score if you're winning 2-0, because if the opposition get one back, the momentum's with them. I'm going to really believe that. That's what I'm going to believe.
No, it's the truth. That's the most dangerous scoreline in all of sports. 2-0 is always dangerous because, you know, especially they always say at this point in time, the next goal is the most important because if they score it, pretty much the game's over. United score it, and then they're on the comeback trail. So
it's like Newcastle, isn't it? They were 2-0 up and we won it 3-2. So it is a dangerous score. The momentum can come back. I think when we attack, we do look okay, but we've just played such a defensive team. It's we're not getting to attack much. What a weird ball that was, thank God, from Southampton. Joseph Young says, I liked Jose since his in today's. Madrid manager was fired after losing 5-1 to Barca. Jose's got to go. This team of donkeys is a disgrace to this club. Zidane, whoever Jose, out. God save us. Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Well done, Rashford.
When he got...
This is it. Lukaku. Yes! 2-1 United. Good goal. What brilliant by Rashford. And little bit of luck, but we're back in it. And Rashford works really hard for that. And Lukaku, if he'd have missed that, I'd have gone absolutely apeshit. He's got to finish that, and he does. 2-1 to United. It looked like, I don't know, yeah, good work strong by Rashford twice. Little Megs, and Lukaku cannot miss from there, and he doesn't.
Yeah, got fortunate there with the back heel that kind of dropped nicely to him, Rashford, on his first touch. But sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And actually a good finish. Goalie was coming out.
We desperately needed one before half time. What's gone wrong here? I tell you, it's a dangerous scoreline. People are going to be laughing at me now. You're going to be laughing on your other side of your face. I can see United coming back. Fellaini's getting booked. To be fair, if Lukaku missed that, he could carry on with the ball and never come back. It was absolutely on a plate. He's got to score those.
Yeah.
But you never know. You know, goal like that could be... strikers live off chances, don't they? And I certainly think the front two element of this formation is causing Southampton problems. But we've got to... well, I suppose, yeah, I mean, I would change things at half time. But you'd fancy, you know, if Southampton sit back, you'd fancy us to score. So...
yeah, which they probably will do now, to be honest with you. You know, at this point in time, they had the 2-goal lead. And
Joseph Young says, Fellaini last game, Lukaku this game. Jose will be loving it. He doesn't see that Rashford did all the work. It's all about Lukaku. Deborah's right. Deborah MEFC says, why do we only ever start trying when we're losing? I know, it is frustrating, but... a lovely ball in. We'll get back level for half time. We'll have some of that. Still time. What we got? We've still got 10 minutes to do this. This is the trouble with United, though. The intensity's there now. Why do we always start badly?
no game plan, no tactics.
I agree with that comment from Ben Murray. He says, even if we lose, they're not going to splash 25 million on sacking Jose. No, you know, realistically, this should be the sack race. This should be about, if you lose today, you're sacked, because Mark Hughes isn't doing that well either. But it won't be. It won't be. I think if Southampton lose, especially from this position, Hughes will probably get sacked, because I think Southampton will be ruthless. But I don't think United would, even if we did lose this, which to be honest, I've got to say, I think we can get back into this now. I don't think they'd get rid of him. Christian Medina says this match is tailor-made for Martial. Exactly. There's so much space for the front two of United. Is that a free kick to Southampton again? That one looked a bit weak. Well, sort your bloody wall out this time, Daya, because you can't be getting this wrong. Can't blame Jose for the goals. He'll turn it around, says James Kay. A little bit of positivity there in a sea of negativity.
Maybe McTominay could lay behind the wall on this one.
I'll tell you what, he better not do it again. He's not good.
No, he's just standing there marking the shortest player on the field, though. He should be in the thing.
To be honest, though, for De Gea's sake, this better get saved. You can't be getting beaten by 2 free kicks in the same bloody half. No, it's over the wall, thank God. Is there a real difference between Jose and Moyes, says Charles? To be honest with you, at the moment, I think that Moyes' record's probably better. You know, at least with Moyes, there was an attempt to try and score. Wasn't there that game where we had like 100 crosses or something and they were all shit and we drew 0-0?
Yeah. Someone just said, they replied to what I said earlier about not having any tactics, and they said, no tactics, you must be deluded. Well, if there are tactics, somebody please tell me what they are, because it looks to me like a bunch of guys kicking a ball around, running around like a bunch of headless chickens. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe we're watching a different game.
I think there are tactics. I just think they're very defensive tactics. And I think Rashford's had a good game. Goal! What a goal! Herrera 2-2, and again it comes from Marcus Rashford. Absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. Marcus Rashford has been brilliant this half, and it's a great run, and it's a cutback, and it's Ander Herrera and Southampton, and Mark Hughes' face has sunk. Absolutely sunk. He can't believe it. But Rashford's been absolutely superb. Great run. Turns, runs, goes past a couple of players all the way to the byline. There's the cutback, and Ander Herrera with a little flick. 2-2. And it's all on Rashford for me. All on Rashford, Daniel. Yep. Absolutely superb.
Yep, excellent work to get to the byline. We'll cut back, and Herrera with a very good finish. Nothing really the goalie could do about it. He was, kind of actually saves it, goes under his arm and in, but good finish. Excellent finish. Rashford playing well. He's absolutely on fire, and United now could take this away. Yeah. Could be 3-2 up at half-time. Unbelievable. What a turnaround. But it's not sod all to do with tactics. Sod all to do with tactics. This is just an individual masterclass from Marcus Rashford. Again, somebody steps forward and just saves Jose's career. Marcus Rashford. All those people calling him Trashford. I said, don't call him Trashford. The boy's got talent. Wow, what a half. 4 goals. No one would have predicted that, would they? Silenced. Southampton silenced. I think a lot of United fans silenced. I think you're silent, Dan, as well. It's probably not what we deserve. But having said that, Marcus Rashford's turned up. It's a bit like what happened with Martial in October, isn't it? These individual players just keep coming forward. And it's always players that have been treated bad by Mourinho, isn't it? Where's Fellaini? Where's Lukaku? Where's Matic? They're doing their normal shit. And then one of these players that have been treated badly by him, they just keep turning up and keeping him in a job. Marcus Rashford's been brilliant. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd agree with that. I'd say definitely the performance from him has gotten us back into the game. But again, they've scored the 2 chances that they created, something that hasn't been happening in the last few games. So I mean, I'll still maintain what I said. Mourinho, not for me. Hasn't been for me for a long time. So, if he's going to keep relying on performances like this from individuals to get points, then so be it. But it's not down to him. Tez Roy says, Mark Goldbridge, the perfect flip-flopper. Mate, I want Manchester United to win. I'm a Manchester United fan. I want Jose Mourinho to be sacked. He's a cretin. What more clarity do you want? This is Southampton. They're shit. It's the same as Palace last week. Crap. Absolute crap opposition. We should be smashing them. Didn't Chelsea beat them 6-1? Chelsea came here and won 3-0. City beat them 6-1, yeah. So they're an awful side. Absolutely awful. We should be beating them.
Douglas James Horn says it. Southampton can't defend for toffee. But I want Manchester United to win. I don't want our season to be dead on December the 1st. You know, I want to cling on to something. I want my team to win. I'm not one of these people who want us to lose to get rid of Mourinho. So I'm not a flip-flopper. I want Mourinho gone. Look at the 11 that he's picked. Imagine if he picked a proper 11. We could be winning this 4-0. Imagine if we attacked this side. You know, instead of waiting to go... I wouldn't even say we're really attacking them now. It's just a bit... Rashford's got us 2 goals out of individualism where he's gone past 3 players on both goals. You've got a player who goes past 3 players. You should score a goal because you've took 3 players out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll say this. I'm definitely not flip-flopping at all. I think I've said for a while, probably since before I even went to last year when I went to City at home in December, I just haven't wanted him as manager. It's not my choice. But, and like I said before, I'll disagree with what you said. I was actually, I'll put my hands up and be the first to say it. If losing will get him closer to the door, then so be it. I'd never want this team to lose, but under these circumstances, I'll put my hand up. I'll be the first to accept the abuse, but I'm not going to change my stance on that. Like I said, like we were saying earlier, what does winning get us? What does winning this game get us? What does winning this game have us going forward? Nothing. What does this get us up to? 7th?
I think we'll go to 6th tonight because I think Everton will lose to Liverpool tomorrow, but we will be 6th. Joseph Young says Jose's favourites nearly get him the sack and his enemies save his job. Pogba against City, Martial throughout this season, Rashford today. The irony, yeah, it's always the same because they're the best players that we've got. And what a surprise! Rashford playing through the middle does the job. Got to be careful here. Southampton on the attack. We're in here, down the right. Play him in. Lovely. Ashley Young. Look at that back post. Look at that back post for Lukaku. Oh, control. Terrible. Terrible. Come on. Right before half-time, we could get in lead here. I'll read your comment in a minute, Liam. Liam McRae says, like I've said, back Rashford all the way. Fantastic. I said it on the other night. I like Rashford. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think you see him play for England. You see him tonight. He's got the talent. He's just got to... He needs games and he needs confidence. Good play by Pogba. Oh. Shoot, just have a shot. Straight at the keeper. Better. Much better from United now. I mean, I don't want to talk from a Southampton point of view, but 2-0 up to 2-2 is shit. It really is. But that's what I mean. They're not a very good team. We should have done this to Palace last week. They weren't a good team as well. We're a weird team, United. We just adapt to situations.
It's just where is this from the beginning? And this has been going on all season. It's not just today. Just can't even start a game correctly. That's the most annoying thing for me. It's not like we don't have this capability. We could do this, especially if we've been coming back and scoring late winners against teams, Bournemouth, Newcastle, possibly today. Where is that from the start of the game?
Corner here for Southampton right at the end of the half. We've just got to be a little bit careful on the break because bloody McTominay and Matic, I mean, Mourinho's going to give him man of the match no matter what, isn't he? But we just need to be a little bit careful on the break in the second half. But we should win this game now. The momentum's with us. You've come from 2-0 down. I mean, who comes from 2-0 down, gets the 2-2 at half-time and then loses it? We've got to go on and win this game now. This will be the last kick of the half. Southampton. Corner. Comes in. And we'll get rid of it. Ref should blow. Blow, ref, half-time. He's not going to blow. Cross comes in. Be careful. Matic. Why can't you blow? Just because... Yes, that's it. Half time. Thanks for the contribution, Connor Brown. Somebody says Jose in now. We're having a bloody laugh. I don't care if we win this game 10-2. I made my mind up after the West Ham game. He's got to go, but I want United to win. The ideal situation for me, I don't think we're going to get Zidane. So, and I think the only manager that's available now that United could get is Conte, and I don't want Conte. So the ideal situation, I've always said, is United get top 4 with Mourinho, i.e. 4th. He gets sacked because that's not acceptable, and then we go all out to get Pochettino. That's my ideal season. So I want United to get top 4. Give us your thoughts on that half, Daniel.
Terrible, and then rising from the dead like Lazarus. What can you say? Started awful, down 2-0. First goal was probably Matic's fault twice. He got bumped off the ball by a much weaker player, and then lost a man for the goal. Second goal, great free kick. McTominay shouldn't be sitting behind the wall. And then, two bits of brilliance from Rashford to get us back in the game. So, yeah, mixed.
Karim Dewaji says, did anyone else see Pogba and Lukaku arguing on the pitch? I didn't. But look, at the end of the day, 2-0 to Southampton. Very good free kick for the second goal. First goal, terrible defending. I think McTominay and Matic and Jones as centre-backs is a nightmare. And that's why he's played 3 of them, because he's gone for comfort in numbers, because they're all pretty shit. Fellaini is the CDM. Oh, God. What makes me laugh is you've got 4 players who are all over 6'2", playing together in a defensive 4 centrally, and then Southampton have got 2 hobbits playing up front. It doesn't even make any sense. So we're 2-0 down, and then Marcus Rashford, for both goals, just produces 2 bits of brilliance, like he can. I 100% believe in Marcus Rashford. When he was getting trashed the other night, I was saying, leave him, he's a young lad, he's come through the youth setup, I like him. And tonight, he's potentially, well, some people think Mourinho would be sacked if we lost, I don't. But he's certainly got us back in this game where we can get 3 points, because at 2-0, that game should be done and dusted. But Marcus Rashford twice lays goals on a plate for first Lukaku and then for Herrera. And if you take 3 players out of the game, like he did on both goals, chances are going to happen. So absolutely brilliant from Marcus Rashford. Gets us back in the game. But tactically from Mourinho, yet again, plan A, just a disgrace. But yet again from United, Daniel, it's that whole thing, isn't it? We have to mess up to come back. And sometimes it's great. And I think tonight might be another Newcastle. But you're going to get your Crystal Palace games, you're going to get your Man City games where it's just not going to work. And we haven't got that consistency that's going to get us top 4, and I just don't see it. But we've got to win this game now. We've got the momentum, and we've got to get some positivity. What? Yeah,
absolutely. But, at the same time, you still have to worry that Matic is playing as a centre-back, McTominay is playing as a centre-back. If they could score 2 goals in 20 minutes in the first half, there's no saying they can't do that in the second half. And right now, especially with the game tied, they really have nothing to lose. So it's not just going to... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll just read these super chats out, and then we'll talk about what United could do in the second half. Hakil Hall says United makes this look like a relegation match. Well, yeah, it's an even game. And Philip Burtonwood, why do we have to keep having to go behind before we realise that we need to start playing football? Exactly, spot on. I mean, for me, I would take that 2-0. I know it's 2-2 now, but I would take that as a massive shot in the arse to change things. I don't think he will. He'll probably stick with what we've got, Daniel. But would you change things?
Well, they got the 2 goals that brought them back into the game with the lineup they have out there. So I don't think he'll change anything just yet. I think he'll probably make the changes around the 65th, 70th minute if things are still tied. But they'll go with just the same formation they had out there to start and end the half, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I think it's going to be, I think the first 10 minutes they'll try to play back into the game in terms of playing football, but they're not going to do the long ball because they're not losing anymore. They're not going to try to do the long ball stuff until the last 25.
I mean, a few people saying there we're going to win it. I can see us getting to 4-2, and then we might get into dreamland. Then I certainly think we we'll score the next one, and then I think Southampton maybe go a bit gung-ho and we can get the fourth and put it to bed. I do see us winning this game now, and I think I always did see us winning this game. I think at 2-0 I was a little bit concerned, but we've shown in the past that we can come back from that, and we tend to... I always think United are more... You know, at 0-0 I was like, oh God, this is a bad start. And as soon as it went to 2-0 to Southampton, I actually felt more confident than I did at 0-0, because I just think when you know... there is something about this United side that when it's losing, I think it's more dangerous than it is when it's drawing, because or when it's in front. I think we are a better team when we're losing. It's a weird thing. It is a weird thing. Wilf says, how come we set up defensively and can't defend? Yeah, I think what United's tactics today, if I could describe them, are very, very defensive and then just playing two up front. On their two centre-backs, and if you get the ball quick enough, you've got a 2v2 situation. But apart from that, you know, Pogba's been a bit redundant really, because it's not his sort of game. We're not driving from the midfield, we're not moving the ball through the midfield, we're just hitting the long ball up and trying to sort of catch Southampton on the break, which has been, you know, effective with Rashford the playing the way he is. Our defence is so bad we make Liverpool look good, says Kai. Well, Liverpool actually have got a good defence now, to be fair. And Fred in, McTominay out, says Blaj. Well, look, McTominay's playing as a centre-back, so he will play 90 minutes. We're not going to see him change. The midfield three is Fellaini, Herrera and Pogba. I mean, I'd like to see Fellaini come off, to be honest. I don't really see the point in Fellaini, Daniel, really. They're not a tall team. We've already got three tall centre-backs. I think taking Fellaini off and putting on a player who's got a bit of flair and tenacity about them like Fred would be a good move, but I don't think we'll ever see Fellaini getting substituted.
Yeah, no, I don't think he will either, especially as long as the game's still tied. If they go ahead and take the lead, they'll probably keep all them on anyway, because then they'll be trying to protect something, and then he likes to hide out there to defend. So I don't think there's going to be many changes coming in those types of areas. I just think in the second half, as the half progresses, if it's still tied, they'll try to bring on a Martial or players like that. But I don't think Fellaini, Matic, McTominay, any of them are coming off anytime soon.
Shivesh Singh says we will never win a game with those two giants in the midfield, but we will keep playing Fellaini and Matic raging. I suppose there is that element. You've got to take every game as it comes. And you know what? There are some bad teams in this league, and United, regardless of the tactics, the manager, we've got some very good players. And what happens is you get one of those players comes and does something, produces something, and what's happened today is that one of our players has produced something, and that's Marcus Rashford, and he's got us back in the game. And that's the thing with United. You know, people say, "Oh, you're going to get relegated." We're never going to get relegated, because we've got too many quality players that every now and again will produce something, like Rashford has today, like Martial has done in October. Southampton don't have the quality. You know, they don't have the quality, and we should be beating them. But I would agree, we're not gonna consistently we're not gonna be able to play. We're not gonna beat many teams with this sort of football, but we should have enough to win it today. Interestingly enough, now, and we were talking before the game about distance covered for United, and we're like nearly at the bottom of the league for distance covered. But Ander Herrera's covered more distance than anybody in this game. Hardly plays for United. You know, exactly another player who should be playing for us. Anyway, let's have a look at this second half. You get your fancies, Daniel, now?
Yeah, they'll probably go on and win it. I mean, just because they have the momentum. That's the only reason why I'd say that they have a good chance to go on and win it. 0-0 with the lineup we had, just starting the game slow. Like I said, I could only see a draw or potential loss. But they go down 2-0. Now they scored 2 goals. The worst thing that could probably happen is halftime. But now they do have the momentum. So would it shock me if they go on and win the game? No. Would it shock me if they draw? No. A loss? No. Nothing is surprising with this team, especially when there's no real way of playing and real way of setting up. It's kind of just all, it's pretty flippant. So whatever happens is I'm not really too shocked about.
Dan R says if United was a mental illness, we'd be bipolar. And Blake the Ill says, Jose may need to go, but it's more on the players than on him because they're wearing the shirt, and if that doesn't inspire you, then that's the problem.
Disagree, because if managers like Matt Busby and Sir Alex before you at this club don't inspire you, then nothing will. So, the badge might be able to inspire the players, but if you're a manager and you want to call yourself a top-tier manager and you come to the biggest club in the world and this is how you treat it, it's not on the players.
And Sharath Kamath Fitness says, Mark, please get me on the call tonight. I need to get things off my chest. United are driving me crazy. Well, we'll have the call in straight after the show, and you can get involved in that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we have got the call in. We've got fan cams. Flex is at the game. We'll be interviewing fans after the ground. I imagine they're going to be buzzing if we come back from 2-0 down. And I'm sure if we do it, there will be people who do flip-flop and go, look, you can't fault him. It's another game we've been behind and we've come back. But I always look at the way how we come back. And how we're coming back is not from good football or tactics. It's always individual. It's individualism. You can't coach Rashford spinning twice and skipping past 3 players and putting it on a plate for somebody. That's not tactics. That's individualism. And this is the thing. Nothing is happening at this football club that's making me for 1 second think, oh, I'm going to change my mind about Mourinho, despite the fact that I think we will come back from 2-0 down and win this game. And I should be going, well, is it anything to do with the manager? And I automatically go, no, it's not. There's nothing happening out there. It's in despite of the manager. I mean, we're playing Southampton, bottom 3, with 4 giants at the back. We should have attacked them from day one. Minute 1, we should have attacked them with a totally different team, and we'd probably beat 3 or 4-0. We're making hard worker games.
No, absolutely. And just to comment on Danny Green's point, he just asked, so the players then don't have any responsibility. Well, of course they have responsibility, but if you're a player, right, and Jose's your manager, and he says, go out and start this way or go do this. And you've been working under him for a couple of years. You know what pisses him off and what he likes, right? Now, if you go out there and do the opposite of what he's going to praise, you're almost going to play with a little bit of fear. That's why young players like a Mason Greenwood, like a Chong, they play with no fear. They have everything to gain, almost nothing to lose. So the players do have a responsibility. Yes, absolutely. I do agree with that. But to say that when they come out and they're down 2-0 to Southampton, or they can't beat Crystal Palace, or I just think, if you put this team and you had another manager on it, would those same results be happening? Probably not. That's my only thing. If you put somebody else in charge of this team, same team, keep it the same, and just actually have a manager that coaches the players and could get the best out of the players, would these results be happening in the manner in which they're happening? Down 2-0 to Newcastle, I'd probably say no. I'd have to say no.
Patrick Pierre says, in relation to Lukaku's goal, that was just his first touch trying to control it. Michael Andros says, board approves maximum top 4, whoever is manager. Bring on Martial. Saints can't deal with his pace as Christian Medina. Well, they're struggling with Rashford as well. Biggie Third says, I'm sitting here feeling disappointed because we equalised. I must admit, I did detect a lot of that in the live comments, and I can sort of understand it. I think some people are just thinking at 2-0 down, I've had enough of this, let's lose this game and get rid of this manager. But I personally don't think that was going to happen anyway. We will never... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, you definitely detected it from me. And it's not because, like I say, like on an isolated incident, would I ever want this team to lose? Absolutely not. You got to look at the context. I've only been saying that, especially since going down 2-0. If losing gets us closer to getting rid of him, then yes. That's not to say like if losing a game in a final, so the guy gets sacked on a one-off cup final, different story. But if him winning against Southampton is going to keep him 3 months longer or 4 months longer, how can any fan say that's acceptable? How can anyone say that they're enjoying this football, or this football is turning a corner, or we're getting better playing this football? That's not the case. There's no progress to be made under this manager. That's my whole thing.
VV Hitting says, I think he picks the team out of a hat. And let's come back to the live comments. So we're just about to come through the second half. I mean, to be honest, that first half was pretty exhausting, if I'm honest with you. I just need to stretch my back out a little bit, so hold on for a moment. It was exhausting. They put you through the mill, this United side, and they really shouldn't do. They shouldn't be doing this. It's not right. I mean, football's great when it's exciting, of course it is, but we don't half make hard work out of simple games. I mean, that Palace game last week, how we drew that was because we played poorly, but we shouldn't be drawing at home to teams like that. And this team, you know, Jose can big Southampton up as much as he like, and he can talk about history and, you know, it's a tough game, but they're in the bottom 3 in December for a reason. They hardly score any goals, and they scored 2 after 20 minutes. I mean, if we can just defend, we'd have won this game. Out of it, Nicholas P, it feels like we come out with crap tactics and then the players decide to play for their own professional pride and make their own tactics. I think that's a brilliant point. I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think plan A never, ever seems to work. And then what happens is, you know, Mourinho, if you think about the Newcastle game, the second half, you end up playing with 2 centre-backs, 1 midfielder and 7 forwards like we did against Young Boys. And we just get something from being gung-ho. When is plan A going to work? I do not know. Maybe never. Anyway, second half's about to kick off.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think under this manager, I don't think there'll ever be a plan A. It's like that's what I'm saying. To me, that just doesn't even seem like a plan. You know, it's kind of just haphazard. But listen, got to push on. Got another 45 minutes. So, like I said, I think the worst thing that could have happened to the team was halftime because they go in with the momentum. Now you have your team talk, whatever that entails. If there even is a team talk, and then you have to come out after a 15-minute period of rest. So, and, you know, the first thing they're doing is going long ball to nobody.
Well, the momentum's with United. I think the good thing is that the Southampton crowd, a home advantage can be important, but they will have gone from absolutely ecstatic to what have we done, and I think we need to play on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Darren Sweetman saying that don't forget Jose needed and wanted a center back. Yeah, but I mean, you know, we'll be talking about that until he leaves.
Well, you know, if we had lost this game, you know, maybe imagine if Southampton had gone on from 2-0 to 4-0. Mourinho
that's the first thing he would have said, yeah.
Yeah, he would have said that. So he had his excuses ready.
So, Mark, would you give him any money in January? Honest answer.
Me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. No, I've already said I wouldn't give him a penny. I don't see the point in giving a manager money who's going to definitely be, well, I say definitely, who should be gone at Christmas. In May. I don't think he'll be gone at Christmas. He's not made any changes, Callum White, no. No, he'll stick with this team, 100%. Anyway, we've got a corner here, which is something we've really not taken advantage of, because Southampton, like Daniel says, are not a very tall team. We've got absolutely loads of giants. If we put a decent cross in here, we should be scoring, and we've not managed to do it yet. I think we've had 4 or 5 attempts. There's so many tall United players. Punched away. Another corner. Well, McTominay's found some use, standing next to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, causing a problem. Shiggy says, did he give a reason as to why Smalling or Bailey didn't start? Yeah, he said that they were both injured. Said Smalling had a foot problem, and he said Bailey had a back problem. Although he hasn't played a game in 2 months, but he's got a back problem. So
he's quite injury prone.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, probably slipped in the kitchen. Is that McTominay missing an open header all over again, or is it foul? Because it looked like the goalie came flapping out at that, and he had a whole net to put it in.
Yeah. I think it was a foul.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you stand on the keeper like that, and the refs have drawn his attention to it, then
they'll always call it. Yeah.
So nothing from the corners. Goal kick to Southampton.
But like you've always said, Mark, and like people are saying in the comments, he's a very, very lucky manager because, most teams in the league you go down 2-0 against, you're probably not coming back. But he's had the fortunate aspect of doing it against Newcastle. Now today against Southampton. You go 2-0 down against your Chelseas and Arsenals. Not coming back from that. It just seems that when they do go 2-0 down, play a horrible half of football, they're playing pretty weak opposition.
I think that's the thing, though. I mean, I definitely think that this is why City nearly went invincible last season. I think below the top 6 teams, the rest of the Premier League is pretty shit and has been for a couple of years now. And United are a very, very bad side. But even if you do go 2-0 down to Southampton or Newcastle, they're so bad that even though United are bad, we've still got the quality to like I say, it only takes one of the 11 players to do something individual, and you can get back in a game. And we saw that against Newcastle with Martial and Pogba, and we've seen it with Rashford today.
Yeah, I just saw they had Martial, Lingard, and Rojo warming up. I don't know why Rojo's warming up, but maybe it's just to keep warm, because I can't see the point of bringing him on. If you're going to bring him on, you should have just started the game with him.
Yeah, apparently he's only had one training session, so he's only got one. See, he's only got one fit centre back, as he's told everybody about a million times, Jose, and that's obviously Phil Jones.
Tell you what, Rashford's done very well today. He's also made the ball stick at his feet, which is not usually the best part of his game either. His touch
he's
has
been very, very
good.
good. Very, very good.
Yeah, probably had to say man of the match.
Just got to be honest. If we keep getting the ball to Rashford, I think that's the best thing. That's our only real outlet. Well, we've got to start doing something with these opportunities here. Ashley Young can put a good delivery in. Oh, stop looking at the ball like you're a fucking rugby player, you pillock, and just cross it. Here we go. Fellaini over the bar. It was a good cross. Maybe there is something in that whole staring at the ball from Ashley Young.
Oh, you just know it's going to be Fellaini too to get the go-ahead goal. That's nailed on.
Well, he should. To be honest, he should do better from here. It's a free header.
Yeah. Did it hit his shoulder?
It's a terrible header. To be honest, though, Fellaini's not actually good in the air. There's this myth. He's not actually that good in the air, Fellaini. He gets on the end of things because he's tall, but his heading ability is pretty shit and always has been.
I was going to say, he's actually very good heading the ball when he's in the 6-yard box and closer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him miss one of those yet. If he gets one on the doorstep, he doesn't put it over. I'll give him that much. Luke Shaw hasn't gotten forward as much as he should either. In the first half, there's a couple right after they scored the second. He had a nice overlap, but he's actually hasn't gone forward as often as he should have. Young's probably gotten further forward than he has today's game.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Luke Shaw, have we? Good tackle on Luke Shaw there by a Southampton player who I don't know who they are, but Lamina, you mentioned him. He looks good. Pogba, he did well not to get a yellow card for that.
Yeah, Lamina's a good player, Juventus player.
There's a good tackle on Shaw, and then he's.
Yeah, he was a little lazy coming to the ball, Luke Shaw. He actually just kind of waited it for it to get to his feet, and then he got it taken off of him. But it always amazes me how teams like Southampton can get players from Juventus, for peanuts, and then we'll go shopping around in the Dutch league, and we'll have to pay off, an arm and a leg and your firstborn kid.
That's Pogba been booked as well. So we've got a few players on bookings. Need to be a little bit careful because we do not want to be having players sent off. Not in a game like this.
So I think that's now Pogba, Fellaini, Rashford, all on yellows, right?
Yeah. So 8 minutes in, and I say United's still got the momentum. But Southampton, not really much going for them at the moment. They'd probably take the point, I think, Southampton. I think that's what they're looking at in their second half approach. They don't want to be so gung-ho, but they're still a threat.
Yeah, what do you if they get a point out of this, I mean, surely you got to say that's obviously 2 points dropped for United, but do you think that's enough to get some consideration? I know Arsenal's a quick turnaround, but is that enough to get some consideration about the possible sack?
What, if we draw?
Drawn away to Southampton?
No. If we draw this, he's still going to be yellow card there for, I think, Lamina on Pogba this time. Maybe giving him a little bit back. No, I think if we get a point, he'll still be in a job, even though that's, to me, is a shocking return. 2 points from Palace and Southampton. But as I said, I think if we lost, he'd still be in a job, because I think you sort of touched the nail on the head there. The turnaround to the Arsenal game is quite big as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is quite short, sorry. Here we go. Good defensive play there by Southampton. Really good ball by Pogba. I think Rashford and Lukaku sort of got in each other's way there. Pogba seemed to want to shoot from about 40 yards there. Don't need to be getting that desperate. Terrible ball by Matic, and gives an easy opportunity for Valerie to tackle Luke Shaw.
That was terrible. Pass. Jared says, stop worrying about the sack. It's not happening. Well, it's got to happen eventually, Jared. It's got to happen eventually. And
when
it
it's
does,
mathematically impossible, I suppose, to get Champions League.
Yeah.
So which is going to be a long time, isn't it? You know, it's going to be, you know, whilst you've got over 20 games left in the season, mathematically that's still a lot of points.
Yeah.
I personally think top four's gone now. I think anybody with any football knowledge knows that top four's already gone. But
well, that's the thing too. You know, he said 2 weeks ago that, you know, we're going to be in the top four at Christmas, and now, you know, we hope to be around the top four. If they don't get 3 points out of this, what is it then? You know, we hope to be around the top 8. You know, and then if they lose to Arsenal, we hope to be in the top half of the table. It's just. And that's the thing, like, that's, to me, that's where a lot of the Jose in comes from. It's the lowering of expectations over the course of 3 years. It's been 100%. Brainwashed. Yeah, 100%. Been brainwashed into thinking that this is acceptable. You know, maybe they a lot of the fans that are Jose in haven't been around, you know, long enough to appreciate that we've been so spoiled with Fergie that this is just so off color, so not what should be happening. I don't know, but.
Oh, he's fantastic at lowering expectations. I mean, he's even done that in his press conference yesterday, hasn't he? Saying that, you know, it's unrealistic to expect the success of the past. Well, despite the fact you've spent more money than anybody in the past. Another free kick here for Southampton. Pogba needs to be a little bit careful, because I don't think he's going to get a second yellow for that. Well, he certainly won't do, but they will tot up. I think we'll beat Arsenal on Wednesday night anyway. Only because we always beat Arsenal. I know they're do. Yeah, I just think at Old Trafford, you've got to remember Arsenal are bottle jobs, and I think we will. Thanks, Sophie. I was just about to do that myself.
I'll tell you what, if they go on to win this game, coming back from down 2-0, then they get Arsenal at home. Like you said, we always play well against them, especially at home. We play well against them. You know, we've beaten them a few times with playing terrible players. You know, the one game a couple of years ago where they had we had Rashford up there. It was when he first came up. They were, you know, had a shell of a team. Still beat them, but I'd say if they win this game coming back from 2-0, I'd say they're good value to get a win against Arsenal. But which will, you know, just.
I was going to ask you, a lot of people in the live comments talking about Pogba, saying get him off, he's been terrible. I did speak about it with Jared before the game, that these are the sort of games where Pogba's got to perform. You know, I do like Pogba, but too many of these games against the lesser teams, he just doesn't dictate the game. And I think, again, today he's not as of yet, he's not done it. But I personally believe he should always keep Pogba on. I was disappointed when we took him off against Palace, to be honest. And I think Mourinho just gets frustrated with him and takes him off. But I would keep him on. To be honest with you, I'd rather see one of the more defensive midfielders come off, i.e. Fellaini, get Fred on or Mata, and let's try and win it.
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier, I don't think he's been great, but I don't think that's on him. I think it has a lot to do with the players playing behind him, giving him the ball. You got McTominay, Matic, Fellaini passing you the ball. It's tough for anybody. So I know you and Jared were saying that in a game like this he needs to stand out, but I think it's very hard to stand out when you got those type of players surrounding you. It's just, like there's players out there that are average players or good players that they get put into a very, very good team and they're very, very good players. And you have players that don't play at that same level when they're around lesser players, which I guess you could make the case shouldn't be happening if you're a world-class player anyway, but...
We've got a good free kick here. This is exactly where Fellaini got on it, exactly the same position. So if we can get another good delivery, we've got so many tall players. Dylan Walsh says that lineup is a joke. Mourinho is killing United. Well, as much as it's a joke, and I agree with you, it is a joke, it should still have the quality to get past this Southampton side, which I don't think is very good. I think we've seen abundantly clear why Southampton are in the bottom three at Christmas time, because they're just not very good. Good delivery from Young, and we get a corner. We should be delivering a lot better. At least Young's on the corner. I don't like Rashford on corners. I think Young delivers a better cross. Got so much height. This was obviously something Mourinho wanted to take advantage of. It would be criminal if we don't take advantage of it.
I got the two giants standing right on top of the goalie, Matic and McTominay. But I don't. All right, there we go.
Hit it. Luke Shaw wide with his right foot, and it's a goal kick. I thought it was going to be a corner. Lukaku did score. Mizordi Gaming, he did, yeah.
Like the thing too is what we were saying before about Pogba and the players that are around him. If they subbed off a Fellaini and they put on Fred, or they take Matic off, put him in place of Fellaini, bring on Rojo for McTominay, whoever, and then you get Fred in there somehow, or you bring in another midfielder to help. I think Pogba's game will be raised. It's just very tough to do his type of job when he's got to be so far back as it is. But Jose's up on the touchline, putting a word in Ashley Young's ear.
I think this one will go the same way as some people were saying. Effectively, all right, it's 2-2, but the first half was a bit of a freak event, and actually we'll just end up getting a goal late on. Oh God, go on Rashford, keep going. Nearly got in there. Southampton on the attack. I don't know how we've conceded twice to this team. Like some teams, you just like they could play all day and they're not going to score. I just feel like Southampton are a bit like that.
Yeah,
we seem to have. We've got so many players behind the ball when they attack. It really is part of the bus. Look at it. There's so many. But then again, look, one little pass and then they're in our box again. Shocking. I thought that was a penalty there. Bloody hell.
Well, I'll tell you what. Also, we have this park the bus. Let's get everybody behind the ball. But there's even no formation when we do that. There's no two banks of four. There's just a bunch of guys standing around the penalty area on the attack here.
What's that cross? Who put that cross in then? It's Ashley massively Young. Overhit Ashley Young there.
But that's your buddy who says you said he could cross. Mark, what happened?
It was a little dink cross to the front.
On his right foot too. But yeah, they're showing
what
back
a tackle
his
that was by
shot.
Scott McTominay. Definitely not a penalty. Or was it? Yes, it was a penalty. I thought it was a tackle. It was. Look, to be fair, you can see why the ref didn't give it. I thought it was a great tackle by McTominay, but when they show it on slow play, it's a penalty. Got away with it. Yeah, I don't know what Ashley Young's doing there, Matthew, not Walsh. hit it to the back post, and both players are front post and middle. And actually, Rashford was free. So Obafemi's coming off for Southampton, which is probably a good thing for us because his pace has been a threat. And Gabbiadini, who I remember when he first came on the scene, looked like he was going to be really good. Actually, I don't think he is. So that's quite good for us.
Couldn't stop scoring when he first got here. Scored twice against United in that League Cup, didn't he?
Mm.
So likes a goal against us.
Few people saying why have United not made any subs yet? Because I think it's difficult for Mourinho to make subs. He won't want to take Fellaini off. He's never obviously going to take Matic off. He won't want to take Lukaku off, and you can't take Rashford off because he's the best player on the pitch. So Mourinho's got that issue, is that he doesn't want to take his favourites off, and he can't take off the players he'd normally take off because they're playing well, i.e. Rashford. So for me, it's Herrera or Pogba. Or if Rashford has an average 5 minutes, he can quickly whip him off. Personally, I'd take Lukaku off and put Martial up front. And I'd take Fellaini off and bring either Lingard or Mata on just to give us a bit more attack in the midfield, because we've gone a little bit stale this half.
Yeah, a lot of backwards and sideways passes, really haven't gotten forward. But like I said, it's about that time, 65th, 70th minute. He'll bring on somebody soon. It's just a matter of who. Just don't think that this game even calls for. I know Fellaini's an option, especially going up front, but this game just does not call for him. Just doesn't. But he's not going to take him off. I'm not saying he is.
Here we go. Come on, Rashford's gone there. Go on, feed him. Oh, Lukaku in his first touch again, and a good tackle there. Well played, that Southampton defender Stevens. Lukaku then, it's his first touch. If Lukaku had a first touch, we'd be 3-2 up.
Yeah, that was bad.
Shame it's like FIFA 19 where you can just boost a certain area of the game of a player's game, because if Lukaku had a first touch, we'd be fine.
He'd be unbelievable.
Tempo has dropped, says Tony. Yeah, I think what we're trying to do now is imagine the game was 0-0 and not 2-2 and it had just been a boring game. Mourinho is just trying to work that opportunity to get that goal, because I don't see Southampton scoring again, so it's just about us getting a goal, isn't it? And I think be interesting to see, because it's not at Old Trafford, Jared. Sorry, I've called you Jared now. Jared was on before, Daniel. Be interesting to see in 15 minutes' time, if it was still 2-2, what approach Mourinho would take to this game, because we're away from home, we're not at Old Trafford, and he might think, oh, a draw. Don't know what that was from McTominay. He might think a draw's not a bad result, or will he go for the game? I mean, hopefully he'll go for it, but because we're at home, we're not at home.
He'd go for it, but it'll be long ball. So that's why I don't think Fellaini will be coming off anytime soon, and I don't think a guy like Fred will be coming on, because he still sees the game as tied. So if you bring on, if you take off a Fellaini, then he's not on the field to get you a goal late on. He's also not on the field if you go ahead to defend in your box. So I don't think any of the Giants, Matic, McTominay, I don't think any of them are coming off. I think Pogba's in the same boat, but he just loves subbing Pogba off, even though he's a big player too, a tall physical player, which doesn't make any sense. He'll leave the other three on, but he'll take him off. So just don't see. I don't think we're gonna win this game by playing football. I think we're gonna win this game by pumping it into the box.
Shot from Southampton there, but you're never going to beat De Gea from that position. Is Rashford? This is the guy we need to get on the ball. He can win us the game. Unfortunately, he doesn't get through the tackle there. Put it in the box. Overhead by Pogba, easy for the keeper, but at least it's something to keep the hands warm, because we've not really done a lot in this second half, and we're halfway through it.
Also, too, when they put in Rashford down that line there, I think the player's got to be trying a little harder to get into the box because he looks up and there's nobody around. So that's what causes him to stay on the ball a little longer and then, potentially lose it or whatever. Pep's disciple says overrated De Gea. Well, the comment's in the name there. Pep's disciple. Just expose yourself, pal. Living up his ass. Oh, overrated De Gea. Please.
Martial looks like he's warming up, but he doesn't look to be warming up with any intensity, to be honest.
Nah. He's doing
Somebody just said they'd rather watch paint dry. I mean, at the end of the day, let's just get the result. Lukaku in his first touch again loses the ball. It's dreadful. I know he scored today, Lukaku, but I think Lukaku can score 30 goals in this team and still be crap.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, he wasn't. And a lot of people have said this. He wasn't great last year. He scored the goals, but there was most of last year. It's not. Listen, you know what you're getting with him. He's not a great footballer. I don't think he ever was. But I think that there's a system that suits him, and we don't play that system. Like Belgium play that system, and that's why whenever he suits up for them, he seems to score, and he plays relatively well to his talent. But we don't play that style, so I think it's his flaws are magnified.
Don't give it to Lukaku there. Bloody hell. What's he going to do? Just give it to Pogba. What is that? What is that? Give it to bloody Pogba instead of thinking you can cross. Look, Lukaku's goal was a piece of piss. Great for him to score. Hopefully he can start scoring a few more, but the goal was a piece of piss. It was brilliant from Marcus Rashford.
Oh, Luke Shaw down. You might actually see Delot now.
Yeah, Delot's coming on. So he is getting the debut because Mourinho's obviously going to make that point.
Watch this boy come down that right side and just destroy the crosses in a good way. Because they'll put Young on the left. He might play him
down the left, He might play him down the left because he did play down the left for Porto a bit, and he might just put Young.
I think he'd put Young there because I feel like he's more comfortable playing Delot as a right back. But I'm looking at Fred in the corner right now over the Mourinho shoulder. He looks thrilled. He's going to get up and do a little warm up too. God, McTominay telling players what to do. Look at this. Oh, Jose must be loving that.
I just do feel with McTominay that at some point he's going to do something that's going to make us think, oh yeah, he is good. Because so many people, Carrick said how good he is. Sir Alex Ferguson said how good he is. Mourinho gave him Player of the Year. I just see absolutely nothing in the kid, to be honest. But at some point, maybe we will. The Mert says Jose told Ashley to park the bus, try and get them on the counter, but the counter will never be there every time, and this never works. Thanks for the contribution, pal. Delot's coming on for Luke Shaw, but hopefully it's not a bad injury because we're picking up a few injuries at the moment.
Well, Luke Shaw's trying to come back on right now.
Oh no, maybe he's not going to come on.
They're going to sit him back down. He's going to sit him back down on the bench after he comes on.
Still doing it.
All right. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm actually genuinely excited now for the rest of this game because I'm going to get to watch him play. And to me, that's the essence of being a Man United fan. You get to watch your homegrown talent, your youth players, your young signings come in and make a difference. And this guy clearly wants to play for the badge. He's always putting out tweets and Instagram about United and getting his chance to play. So, yeah, they're going to play him on the right, and they're going to move Ashley Young to left back. Rashford's still on the ground. He's getting the ball kicked at his head.
Needs to be careful here. Oh, good get rid of it, Herrera. Well done. Good header, that is. Well done. Now play Lukaku in. Come on, Lukaku, do something with... Look at the pace of Rashford. He's absolutely rapid. Unlike Lukaku. I tell you what, I'd totally forgotten that Fellaini was playing this game. He's not... I know he's the CDM, but we need to get him in the box. Yeah, Ashley Young's gone to left back. Ooh, come on, why is no one attacking the front post there? 20 minutes to go. Southampton. I wasn't looking at the screen there. I was looking at the live comments. Sorry. Whipped in across. Absolutely left Matic for dead there, Nathan Redmond. But it was a good cross as well.
Still no Martial. But like I said before, I don't know where they'd put him.
No, I think he's had to stick with this team because he's got all his favourites on and he can't take Rashford off. It is irritating because there's only certain players that he ever wants to take off.
Right.
Like I would have took Lukaku off by now.
Yeah.
You know, luckily that was no goal.
I was gonna say with Redmond out there, you always have a chance.
Well, he skips past all our defenders here. One past Matic, past Jones. It shoots wide. I think we'll nick this late on, as usual.
Well, actually, Mark, whenever I'm on the watch along with you, we always have a late winner. All right, we had Newcastle with me and Marcus. That was a late winner. We had Bournemouth, me and you. That was a late winner. So both games we came down from losing positions. You know, I told you, if you need a late winner, you got to give me a buzz.
Well, I think we're going to get one, Daniel, and then you can keep the run going. Late shot, long shot by Holberg, straight at De Gea. They've had more shots than us this second half. I don't think any of them have really tested, but United have... we've not done a hell of a lot this second half, to be honest with you. But we only never. United are quite clinical with their chances. We always have been. I remember even under Van Gaal we were the same.
Probably say our best chance of this half was the header by Fellaini.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, looks like Martial's coming on, and
I'd be interested to see who it's going to be for, because for me, you've got to take one of your defensive players off, or it's got to be Lukaku. Do not take off Rashford.
Martial loves the goal against Saints, so...
Overhit. Our crossing's been really poor this half.
Yeah.
There we go then. Martial for Rashford. What? What's that all about? The fact United fans not happy either in the ground.
Oh, a lot of them are pissed off.
Rashford's been the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, but he's not 8'12", so he's also not in the fan club. Also, too, he got us the late winner at Bournemouth, Rashford. So
I would have found a way to keep. If you don't want to take Lukaku off, find a way to keep all three on. Just take Fellaini off.
Play a different system.
Yeah. Maybe he's tired, as somebody said there, but I don't think you're tired as a bloody 20-year-old lad.
No, and even if you are, you don't know it. You just want to go out there and win, Yeah. Especially the way he was playing. If you're fatigued, your adrenaline is.
As I said, he's got his favourites who he never wants to take off. Rashford was always going to be the one who was going to have to come off, but I think he waited longer than he would have liked to have waited because he was the best player on the pitch. I mean, Southampton have been the better team this half, not in a massive. They deserve to be ahead sort of way, because I don't think they've created that opportunity. But United have been very disappointing this second half again. Why? Because we're back level again, aren't we? If we were losing 3-2, you'd see a different United. But look, we've got so many men behind the ball. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stop passing it around the box. This isn't United, is it? This is not Manchester United sitting with this many men behind the ball. 10 minutes to go in a game that's 2-2. Come on, Pogba. Oh. Ref didn't do us a favour there.
No, he didn't. That should be a foul. That should have been a foul, to be honest with you. They call it on Pogba.
Oh, holding on for a draw, says Timo. No, we'll get some jammy goal in the last few minutes. We always do. We need it. We need the bloody points. Oh, what's the cog? Oh, bloody hell, Pogba. He's not at the races. I'll be surprised if he didn't go. Oh, my life. De Gea makes a good save there. It's a long shot from Redmond, and Pogba would have been in a world of pain there if anything had come of that. He loses the ball in the midfield. Lamina switches it to Redmond. He must be 40 yards out, and he tries to do De Gea. And De Gea has to deal with it. I mean, it's straight at him, but he has to deal with it.
Yeah, that was all on Pogba there. Terrible.
Not enough substitutions for me. Everybody at home and Daniel, not enough substitutions. I think this has been a lethargic second half, and the subs, not enough subs. He could have changed it.
No, yeah, I'd say not the correct subs. Like we were saying, you can't take off Rashford, who's gotten you the 2 goals. He's made the 2 goals. You take him off. You've been your most threatening player. And now, you still have one more sub to make, but who's that going to be? Are they even going to make it? It's a game you have to win, and there's just never a sense of urgency.
A little bit too close for comfort, that was for Southampton from the corner. Come on, United. Where's this goal going to come from? Because it's not been good. Well done, Martial. Bit of work.
Who's your prediction to get the match winner?
Well, to be honest with you, Fellaini's playing so deep. It depends whether we go for it. I don't think he will. I think Mourinho's sort of thinking, well, if we get a goal, great, but I haven't seen a change in the tactics to go for this. It's sort of like, will this be good enough? If it's not, I'll take the point. And then he'll probably celebrate the fact that we come back from 2-0 down. But that was what? An hour ago. We've not really kicked on from there.
Yeah. That was funny there. You had Lukaku giving it out a little bit to Delo for the bad ball in. Meanwhile, this guy's first touch. There isn't one, but he'll give it out.
What I do know is that we can't draw this game. We can't. You can't draw at home to Palace, then draw to Southampton. I mean, that's worse than losing one and winning one, because you get 3 points from that. We're only going to get 2 points from this.
Good work there by Martial.
Work the opportunity, get the ball in the box. Pogba. Well, at least we've got it down their end for a change. Not his best game, Pogba, again, to be honest with you. And now they're on the break with Redmond, and Phil Jones needs to be a little bit... Oh, it's a good tackle by Phil Jones. It's killed the momentum.
Probably got hurt in the process.
He did look like he was a little bit...
like he was grabbing something.
Yeah.
Lukaku just went down like a sack of potatoes. They're bringing on Stephen Davis, Southampton. So
I thought Lukaku was fouled there. He actually trod on the ball. That's another meme in the making.
This guy's just
now. He's a banter player, isn't he? He's injured himself.
Honestly, he could probably fuck up a cup of coffee. This guy, he's an accident waiting to happen. They got to put him in bubble wrap. Tripping over the ball, backheeling it out of bounds. One touching it into the car park. Oh boy, the jokes write themselves.
They really do. Absolutely full of it. Dear, dear, dear. Well, there's only 5 minutes to go.
And no subs in sight.
We're getting into Daniel time, everybody. Now, you know, every time. Obviously, I normally have Marcus with me, but when Daniel does it, we normally win it late on. So Newcastle, Bournemouth. Wait, that's 2. That's not bad.
Yep. Out of the 3 I've done this year, Wolves, Newcastle, Bournemouth. We've all been tying at some point. Only the Wolves game we failed to win. The only problem is 2 of them were at home. This is the second that is away, so hoping for some good karma. But Lukaku, my God, he's just he's tough to watch.
Well, it does get to a point where Martial's nearly. I think Martial would have been in 1-on-1 then. I think it's gonna. The issue is, I think it's going to get to a point for Southampton where they are looking at a point as a good result for them.
Right.
They don't need to chase this. You know, a point at home to Manchester United for them is probably not a bad point.
Yeah, but that's when I think United will score. When they start putting guys just hanging around the box, that's usually when we'll get some funny knockdown by a Fellaini or Matic, and someone will come there and pop it in.
Well, we've got Lingard coming on now for Lukaku at bloody last. Jesus, that's probably because he's a little bit injured, to be fair.
Yeah, but you take off Rashford and then you take him off 10 minutes later. It just doesn't make any sense. Don't make any sense. I don't think there'll be a lot of
added time.
Stoppage time either, yeah, because there hasn't been any goals, there hasn't been any injuries. Luke Shaw apart, so maybe a minute for that. Then you have 4 or 5 subs. So,
well, as much as I want us to win it, I've got to be honest and say that yet again we don't deserve to win it. I don't think Southampton have done enough to win it either, but I certainly don't think we've done anything anywhere near to win this game.
No, haven't. Also, too, since he's come on, how many times has Martial seen the ball? I mean, he's on it now, but apart from that, he's been on almost 15, 20 minutes now and barely had a touch. Delo, too, has barely been on the ball. Lamina driving on here.
Well, I think this second half has been the game that Jose envisaged, to be honest. The one where Southampton can't score against us, and we just try and nick a goal. But because I don't think they look like they can score against us, to be honest. But we've just not done anything on the attack either, which has been a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
We still got a couple of minutes. I don't know. I mean, if it did stay a draw, I mean, hopefully it won't do. But if it did stay a draw, does anybody? I know a lot of people would say that it's not good enough, and he should be sacked. But I don't think there's any part of me that think that he would.
No, I don't think he will either. I genuinely do think, though, after a loss, if they would have lost today 2-0 or even worse, 3-4, whatever, and then you've just drawn it home to Palace, and then you come here and they're in the bottom three and you lose. Very, very difficult. I understand what you're saying. It's quick turnaround to Arsenal, and until it's mathematically impossible, and that's what I always believed in the beginning of the season anyway. But it's very hard to justify keeping a manager on when those are the types of results. I mean, because the groans just get louder and louder, and then you can't tune them out. Even if mathematically impossible is your idea for sacking somebody, it's not gonna last. So I genuinely think if they lost today, it would have been very, very hard to keep him in a job. But
I'd agree with that. But to be honest, I think it was a must. I do think it was a must win, but I don't think there is any part of me that thinks that they will sack him because of it. But this is United now. We're going into stoppage time, and we suddenly show some intensity and some passion after. Here we've got a chance of a free kick. I mean, this is it. This is the goal. This is the perfect angle. Ashley Young whips it in. Fellaini's head, and this is it. And this is United. It's massively frustrating. It's not frustrating if we win it. It's great, but we've done sod all in this game, and here we are, bang on in the 90th minute. I can see this going in off Fellaini's head, and that'll be it.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, 4 minutes. That's what I was about thinking. No, who'll score. Let me see who's in the box here. I'll tell you who'll score right now. If anyone's going to score this, probably be. Gotta have a look at who's up there. Matic or McTominay.
Yeah. Oh, Mourinho would love that. It's not a good enough cross. It's a poor cross. He's hung it up, and the keeper's there. Here comes Lord Fellaini. Well, we've still got 4 minutes for Lord Fellaini, so don't hold your breath. It's not over yet.
Jesse doing a little bit of running.
Well, you see, I think we should have done that way before now. I think we should have gone for this game way before now, to be honest. Man of the match, for me, got to be Rashford. I think without him, we lost this game.
Yeah.
He's given us the platform to try and get something out of it. I'm just surprised that the effort in the second half has been so lethargic. Really, not really enough effort for me.
Nah, I don't. Like I said, don't know what goes on in the halftime team talk, but you'd think, 2-2, you're down 2-0, you get it to 2-2, you go into the dressing room, you get everybody G'd up for the second half. They came out. I feel like they've come out more flat in this half than they did in the first half. They just have. Southampton hasn't been trying to get at them.
What surprises me is that we were, like you say, we were 2-0 down. You get back to 2-2, and then where's the momentum? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. I've got my match reaction coming up, and then we've got the call-in at 8 o'clock. We've got the call-in at 8 o'clock. Both of those streams are on the channel already waiting, so you can go, link in the video description for my match reaction, which will be straight after, and then I'll have a short 10-minute interlude, and then we'll do the call-in at 8 o'clock. So, but can United get a goal here? Again, it's taken. There's something about this United team that just seems unable to do anything until, we're into the 90th minute or they're losing. Where's Southampton? Late free kick for Southampton here. Ashley Young, which, to be honest with you, isn't going to give us much time to do anything. It's a chance for Southampton to whip one in. Thanks for joining me today, Daniel, anyway, because it'll be a quick changeover at the end. But it doesn't look like your late goal thing's going to... I don't want to speak too soon. Hopefully it will happen, but it doesn't look likely.
No, we might have to stop getting me on altogether. Although if they don't score this, I will still have an unbeaten record.
Oh no, we'll definitely keep you coming on, Daniel. Really, really appreciate it. But It's just a shame we haven't kicked on in the second half. I just don't. We seem to be have to behind. We seem to have to be chasing something to produce something. I think the second half performance has been indicative of the crap tactics, and I think you take Marcus Rashford out of this game, and I think we would have lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really just 2 bits of individual brilliance have got us back into this game. There's been nothing else. Free kick goes over the bar. I think we're just about going to be there with that. Not really any desire from United to go and get a win either. It's just not. It's not good enough. The point's not. As I say, 2 points from Palace and Southampton. We'd have been better off losing one and winning one. You know, we'd have had 3 points instead of 2.
Yeah, no, I know. That's one of the most frustrating things. But I mean, these are sides that are fighting relegation, and you couldn't beat either of them. Although Martial's coming down here.
There's a little chance. Maybe just swing one into the box. Ref isn't going to blow yet, I don't think. Oh, he's going to let the free kick go. This could be the moment. 94 minutes and 33 seconds. It's in that Fellaini area for Ashley Young. This could be the moment. Daniel. The 100% record could keep up.
Yeah,
I mean, we're well over the 4 minutes. Really, he shouldn't really be giving this free kick the time. But here we go. Fellaini's eating Gucci tonight, says Jaden.
He's eating something.
Hughes is furious. He's saying 5 minutes has been given. And that is that. It ends 2-2. It was a shit free kick.
Horrible.
Mourinho and Hughes shake hands. Thanks for coming on, Daniel. Appreciate it, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Everybody like, subscribe, follow. You got almost 12,000 of you watching, and I'm sure that's probably part for the meltdown that will ensue later. And there will be a meltdown, I'm sure. Just not good enough again. And enjoy your holiday season. I'm sure we'll be speaking soon, Mark, and take care. All right. Thanks for having me on.
You too, pal. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Sure. Thanks, brother.
I appreciate that from Daniel coming on for the watch along today. Unfortunately, Marcus couldn't make it. Right, link in the video description for my match reaction. Lots of things I want to say. I'll be shooting from the hip. I mean, that's shit. That is shit today. Absolutely shit. Lots of you here at the moment. Link in the video description. I'm going to be live in 30 seconds time there. So jump over onto the match reaction stream with me. And then we've got the call in after that. So loads to get forward to tonight. I'll speak to you in a moment. Link in the video description or go through the homepage for the match reaction.